seems always in time, but never in line for dreams. Head over heels, went toe to toe. This is the sound of my soul. This is the sound. I bought a ticket to the world, but now I've come back again. Why do I find it hard to write the next line? Oh, I want the truth to be said. I know this much is true. I know this much is true. True. With a thrill in my head and a pill on my tongue, there's all the nerves that have just begun. Listening to Marvin all night long. This is the sound of my soul. This is the sound, always slipping from my hands. Stands a time of its own. Take your seaside arms and write the next line. Oh, I want the truth to be known. I know this much is true. I know this much is true. I bought a ticket to the world, but now I've come back again. Why do I find it hard to write the next line? Oh, I want the truth to be said. I know this much is true. I know this
I forgot one thing. I do so much. Sometimes I forget one thing. Dang it. I did that. Did I change the channel? Yo, nice little shot of Sweet Pea back there, licking her crotch. Get it, girl. Get it, girl. Get it.
It's going into replication.
Hey, boss.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I clean it for her.
Tank, we're going to need a signal soon.
Needs help.
APOC, location. Targeting almost there.
Only she needs help though. I can tell when she needs
It's
it.
going into arrest.
Lock, I got him. Now, Tank, now.
There's not much going on protest-wise. The T, what was that? Is there?
You think that's air you're breathing in? I got him. Now, Tank.
Oh, there's an ICE hotel noise protest.
Who's Smith? I got him.
I got him, man.
You think that's air you're breathing now? Who's Smith?
Oh, what the fuck is this? You have a surprise. Hold up.
Come on!
It's live.
I'll show you what a Hispanic American can do. Come on! Come on!
Don't engage.
Come on!
I had no idea we were going all in right now. Why does it say Oreo Express on the screen? Oh, that's X.
You're protecting the criminals. Guy will be the first one to be put on his ass. Oh yeah? What's your name? Put it on the This guy will be the first. You're threatening, right? You're threatening. What?
I didn't think there was anything happening. That's why I'm fucking playing music and
So
bullshit.
you're supporting him, threatening? Oh, so you allow scum, huh? You allow the scum.
What do you want? I washed my car today, y'all. Are you proud of me? It's super clean. Outside be looking blingin'.
This guy came running up like he was gonna do something. Play a fucking game.
Now I can get the emissions test done. So proud. Yes, I know. I left the house. Dude, I always feel bad about leaving because now I gotta coop up Sawyer. Gotta cage Sawyer and shit. He only gets so much time outside the cage a day.
You're still here too.
I got it done.
Still here too.
Or,
Welcome to America. Trump is your
I hadn't done it in like a year, probably. I do. I watch the car once a year, I think. But I have a garage, so.
The legal president. Assimilate to America and get your accent straight.
I don't want to. They fucking teach their kids to speak Spanish and shit. Like, I was at Costco yesterday, and there was this like lady with her family in front of me. The entire time, all of them were speaking Spanish. It's annoying, dude.
Don't block somebody. Pretend I'm Don Lemon. All right. Look at this. Look at this. This isn't close. Hit 911 right now. Watch. I got it on tape. I got it on tape.
Hey, you're pushing me. Don't push me.
Don't block me from walking.
Walk around.
Okay, I'll walk around. Look at it.
Get out
Look at it. Look at it. adults out here.
Is that a man or a woman? I think it's a woman. Oh man, I should have went live on the other stream, or the other channel. I know there was gonna be a protest.
These are not. Is that a children right there? That's hoping to be an ICE agent? No, I was standing right there. They came up to me. It's all on recorded. Sweetheart, I stood back. I didn't even engage with a child today.
They're agitators. They're agitators.
Agitators. You're an agitator, asshole. You're protesting. That's agitating, isn't it?
Watch how we play ball.
We got recording where he's pushing him.
We're standing in the middle.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah, you're pushing.
I sat right there the whole time.
It's recorded, buddy.
I'm not worried about it, sweetheart.
Yeah.
This is the future of America, students, young people.
This is the future, then this country's going to the shitter. If this is the future, then the country's going to the shitter.
This guy was harassing old people on Clovis and Herndon a day ago. With his little Nazi sign. They don't realize.
His name doesn't make any sense now that he's not with the black dude. Or he should have fucking, I don't know, bro. Change that shit. It's weird. You can change his name if you wanted to. Weird name from just a white dude. What's that have to do with Oreo? What's he have to do with Oreos? It was him, and he was the cream with the cookie, the chocolate wafer.
America, students, okay? Somebody who is going to be educated. They know the truth between Trump and democracy.
Right, yeah, the California education system's known for being top-notch. They're gonna be so fucking educated when they get out. They're being indoctrinated, but he doesn't know the difference between those two words.
Students from high school.
He thinks that means getting a doctorate.
You know how big that high school is?
Yes.
You know how big it is?
This is an example. This is an example of
A small minority, I know.
Dude, I actually used to support Oreo before the People's Convoy. I was a member and shit. I was a donator. I appreciated him like getting out and doing what he did. People's Convoy was just a grip though.
Remember me up. This guy. The peaceful ones, right? The peaceful ones. God bless us, man. These people are standing for pedophiles. These people are standing for rapists. You know, it's kind of interesting. Murderers, human traffickers. You had a sinner to go to another country to have margaritas for almost 13 gang
Clovis. This is right where he lives. He didn't have to go to Fresno. Like, kind of weird that Clovis is protest, dude. And it's a bunch of kids that are protesting. It's like the teachers knew that they could get a bunch of kids to protest on a corner because, like, they're kids. Dad, welcome over here, man. Does he have you banned too? I mean banned. I think. Let me see.
Hey, will you slide that in the back one more time?
Well, maybe I'm not banned on this one. No, you're not either. Hey, there's Shit Leyland.
Adios.
I don't know. Well, now you know. Dude, what happens if you're a legal observer and a journalist? Can you be both? You get like double protection. Cop, you can't fucking touch me.
Yeah, he
I'm
probably
both.
does.
Legal observer and journalist. You can't fuck with me.
Kind of like Renee, not so good. I think I got him swinging on me on camera, so I'm gonna file a police report. Swinging on. We'll identify him.
Might have to go play some PUBG because viewership here is fucking slacking. You know, I need them viewers, some sweet viewers. It made my dick hard. And I mean my spotted dick.
If that's
It's
the
a
future,
type of
if that's the
cake,
future,
English cake. It's got raisins in it.
these poor kids are so
I like for it to be a little
indoctrinated
more
to hate this
firm.
country.
Leave it out. Let the air get to it.
How's
Yeah.
sister go?
There's no way it's gonna come up with my.
What a
I don't
couple.
know what that is. Who was that?
We'll get,
Let me get these teens surrounded around you.
yeah. And it was funny as we sit here the whole time. I didn't engage. Then they go, oh, it's the end. Let's surround them. Let's cause some controversy.
I mean, they're just making themselves look bad.
Yeah.
We would have definitely been defending ourselves for sure.
Why are kids being used as political pawns, dude? I don't remember this
Little term of
happening
fascist, trying to block somebody from
ever
recording.
when I
And
was in
because you got a
school.
little yellow
The
eagle
entire
observer, doesn't
time.
change the fact you're wearing the pins and your dentures is
My
falling out.
entire K through 12, I was never used as a political pawn. Not one time.
Not so peace, Fresno.
I don't even remember seeing it on the news, like high school leaves over some political shit. Same Vietnam. Like nobody, like, them it is. That these are anchor babies. A lot of these are anchor babies or friends of anchor babies. They're scared that their friend's gonna be gone, like as if they're dead if they got to go back to Mexico, dude.
In that class, I think y'all
So it's
kids
like
would be
they're
getting an ass
deceased.
whooping
It's
act
like
that.
It's like they know somebody that could die if things don't change. Like that mentality. And that's what they're indoctrinating them with, I think. You could lose your buddy. You could they could die. It's like they're dying to them, dude. Because it would be essentially because if they have to go back to Mexico,
Test with my glasses because you can ask me questions.
Oh,
wherever
yeah,
they're
I've
from,
heard that online,
maybe even
that people
further
do that. They're
away.
also doing it with
Venezuela.
it's a question for guns. To get you to purchase a gun, they're taking it in there.
You could put prescription lenses in this.
Yeah.
This is somewhat like I could see them feeling a loss. There's not nearly the loss that I guess it is for their community, though. You know, per capita, it probably is as great of a loss to them for the illegal immigrant community. Per capita, their people are dying to them. They're leaving them, and they're trying to keep them there.
They
And
tried
their
to make us
anchor
happy, and the whole
babies
point is just stay until
being
it's
used
over.
now because
They're not,
they can
there's
get out and
Clovis PD
protest
right
without
there.
worry of getting deported. And the parents know that without a search warrant, the ICE and shit can't come in unless they have a removal notice. It's like the final removal notice, I think. Some shit. Hey, WRX fam. Wait, no, what is that? Wait. Is it? I can't fucking tell. I really hope not at this point. No, it's not. Good. American car? I still can't trust it. I'm sorry. They just had such a bad record over the 80s with the Corvettes, man. What the fuck was that? The 90s, too. I mean, now they're coming back. The Corvettes are really expensive, though, but they look like supercars. They're probably alright, but yeah, they were just too cheap back in the day. So it's like that. It's like some sort of the teachers can get these kids to start feeling a certain way.
Stolen land, guys.
If borders don't exist, then how is it stolen land?
Yeah,
Like if they're-
they don't make no sense.
If there are 20 million, we've already gotten rid of like 3 million illegals. 2 million of which were through the they were like, all right, I'll go, and then we gave them money, whatever the fuck they're calling that.
Silly man.
Self-deport.
Are you a silly man?
2 million self-deported already, and then like 600K or 800K or some shit have we deported through etching. Per capita for the illegal immigrant population, that's really high. It's probably higher than the American losses for Vietnam War. Actually, for their demographic, their casualties are higher. Their fatalities are
I wanted
higher.
to come up and tell her side of the story.
Not metaphorically. What's the other one? S1. Sorry, the cats are fighting. I got other shit to worry about now.
He wants to go over there. He wants to go over there now.
I don't know either. How is this happening?
Oh, she's the one that called. They got to take. We'll get some names.
There's one over there by the that's what he got.
How the fuck do you say simile like metaphorically? There's simile and metaphor. That's what was tying me up, dude. Metaphorically and similarly. It must be similarly. That's what was good. I was like, my brain broke right there, bro. Similarly is what I wanted to say. I think it should have been used metaphorically anyway, possibly.
America.
shit's complicated. Our language is so complicated. And that's why these idiot apes don't want to learn it. They're illegals, or they're legal supporters.
Why didn't he call 911?
Barely know English. Because our language is harder than theirs,
Which one
dude.
said that?
They all did.
It's more precise than theirs. It's like Fahrenheit versus Celsius. Fahrenheit's actually more precise. Why we keep on using it.
Well, my sister called you, and I guess you told her it's okay for people to assault people out here. So there's an assault that happened that's on camera. The reason that Clovis PD was called.
The biggest thing is you want to be a victim right now?
Yes, I do.
Absolutely. Mind if I get your ID real quick?
Yep.
You have every right to record.
Yeah, I do this for a living. Yeah. You're recording too, right? There you go. Yeah, I had her call because I was continuing to record. I didn't want to turn off the camera, so she had the phone.
Trying to get some demographic information. Is it full?
Full for FUL, FER.
What's a good address for you? Just go down to the car.
What's happening?
That's his sister right there.
Hey, hey.
Mr. Joshua, what's the best thing that I can do?
Police report that person. The gentleman right here, yellow vet, legal observer. He's part of Peace Fresno. He was the one that came up when I was after they surrounded us. I was trying to move away, and he came up and pushed my camera, started blocking my camera, so I couldn't walk, couldn't move, and that camera's attached to me. I'm holding it like this. No, I don't need anything.
And you what, kids? I'm sorry.
No, I don't need anything like that.
Now he's filming minors!
Because you old people won't protect them or anybody else. Doesn't make any fucking sense.
What time did I get out here? I've been out here since
Yeah, because you want views.
3 o'clock. I started at 10.
They work their way over here.
Yeah, they marched over here right
From there, did you walk up and just...
Yeah, I walked the entire way, and then I stood up there on the grassy area and didn't move the entire time.
Hate me all the time, man.
No, again, I stood there on my own. They surrounded me to try to intimidate me. They have a history. This is what I do for a living. I'm pro law enforcement. I'm pro Trump. So they don't like me. Didn't say anything. Again, because they have a history. I've been in other protests where they've assaulted me. Some of the Brown Berets are here from Fresno, the Hawassa group. They assaulted us.
Dude, there being kids at these things is really fucking weird. They're sitting there calling him a pedo for filming them. When... You know what I mean? Like, what, dude? You're protesting. What do you think that you don't want this to be new? You want this to be news, but you don't want. Sleepy, what the fuck are you? Oh, she's smelling the fucking soap and shit I used to clean the car off. Apparently, I didn't get all off my skin. I had to rinse my hands off. All right.
Well, I mean, throughout the day, I didn't engage in entire live stream. I was just shooting. I was talking about the sunset. There was other people that came up that knew who I was, so they were trying to get people to, I guess you could say, antagonize me. And then when they surrounded me, I told them while it was the right thing to do, that they weren't friends anymore. He actually does something, and got surrounded even more. Then one of the guys in all green threw a punch at me, hit my nose, and then people got involved, kind of broke that up. And when they did that, that gentleman right there in the yellow.
Catholic Church. You mind sending me over this so I can talk to you about it? How many? Just so you're not interfering, my man. It's a misdemeanor to interfere. Okay, it's not your lane. Okay.
And at that point, that's when I turned to come this way. I guess you could say south. You know, one more time. 25 minutes ago. I see. Okay, just one time. Yeah, when he did, he punched me, and then he stepped back after he punched me, and people got involved. He got in the middle of this. Oh, yeah, he's wearing all green. He's got a green face mask on, sunglasses.
They don't know anything about Mexico. I'm on the bed if you ask me what day is Mexican Independence Day.
That's where,
You over here making fun of little ass kids?
that's where,
You over here making fun of little ass kids and supporting a fucking rapist? Fucking dumbass bitch!
See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, these kids think that Trump is a rapist. Why would they think that? I didn't know anything. I might have known about Clinton when I was a kid and about him getting head at the White House, but like, and I bet that the Republicans were like really going on that shit hard. I didn't give a fuck about that as a kid, though. I was like, whatever. I don't know. He knows what. I don't know. I don't know the situation. I'm not him, you know. I was old enough to like be able to like kind of be in his, try to put myself in his shoes and be like, you know what? I don't know his situation. But these kids are being indoctrinated. They're being taught to think a certain way, dude. Why else would they care about politics? Like, I wouldn't have gotten out on the street about it, especially. But I think it's because either their parents are in risk of getting deported, or they know somebody whose parents are at risk of getting deported. So it's like they're Vietnam, because that's their casualties. Per capita, it's more than we had probably in Vietnam. For the illegals, still on that tip. That's feel better now. I feed these cats now.
24 Colonization Act in Mexico. Do you know what it is? Hey, do not call me the N-word, sir. You called me the N-word. I get that. I'm 10% black, and he calls me the N-word. I'm North African, by the way. All right. I appreciate that. Yeah, I would have to go back because it's still light right now, but I can. I'd like to see it right now, but I don't know if it's going to take me. This to get damaged by somebody being dumb, so I'm going to move it closer to you. Because I'd rather take a battery case instead of that. That's the one that's all screaming up. He's coming up.
We have to fucking put Sawyer up first.
I'm facing like this and I'm holding my camera right there. So this is where
That was craziness. I thought my life was hectic with Simon.
that group of the three.
We hit the next level.
My social media, I drive along to the ice. I was in PROL, I was in Baltimore 2 weeks ago riding with ice. They, wherever I go, they don't like me because I'm pro. Yeah, let me see it. It's kind of hard to see it. I wish I would have had this on. I got it.
They're probably playing all kinds of shit they know is like super copyrighted. Possible. Because every time I would have taco night, man, it was good, super copyrighted. A lot of the songs like banned and the stream would be like on from the internet at that point. Yeah, it's not even a protest at this point. It's just a bunch of people hanging out, dancing. One dancing, and the rest of them with hard-ons. Or juicy vaginas. One of the two. Or the guy dancing. Because he's a stud. Both the men and the women want him. They want to see him naked dancing. Or you even wants to see him naked dancing. Do you want to see him naked too, Ted? And a jockstrap, like Revenge of the Nerds, with pepper in it. The pepper oil. Think they're gonna arrest somebody? Is the guy even still there? I haven't been paying attention, I was doing shit. I think the Nerds movie helped shape us. The kids that grew up like in that era.
To get the part on the video that shows what happened. So,
Everybody have a good night. You guys watch out, take care of each other, make sure nobody walks someone home.
It was like Nerds, the movie, the Revenge of the Nerds, did for nerds what Top Gun did for sailors, or specifically naval pilots, naval aviators. But still, enlistment numbers went up dramatically. But like more people were willing to be a nerd, and it was the perfect time for that to come out because like we needed. I want the government was involved in that movie. Like we needed more people to go into that field drastically because it was exploding, and I think that movie helped people. want to get into it because they're like, oh, being a nerd isn't so bad after all.
They're talking about McDonald's prices.
Like, it made it so that we got more developers and programmers. What is it, dude?
Talking about inflation.
First time ever really thinking about it. My subconscious has been thinking about it for 2 decades. I think it's like over 3 decades old now. They're like almost 4. That's wild. That's in their black one. I'm talking about a silent movie or something over here.
Take it easy, man. See ya.
Why is this shit taking so long? Dang, dealing with the cops takes forever, bro. It's like going to get food stamps. By the way, apparently food stamps is all done online now. And there was just a huge fraud case that got exposed from... It wasn't from Minneapolis. It wasn't from Minnesota. It was,
Info's on the card, okay?
it was another M.
Someone's hungry.
So this will be an
It was in
interesting city
Michigan.
council meeting when I go to it.
Oh, really? What they say?
Well, I give them. I couldn't get the video to pull up because my Verizon phone don't have that great a service over here. I got to get to a spot, but it wouldn't play, so I'm going to upload that. But they had an opportunity to go talk to the two, and they chose not to. Clovis is scared of. They don't want to get involved.
Oh no! The mom showed up! I'm
What?
an adult. Don't talk to a minor like that. That's a little girl. Bitch, you were...
How about this? How about you get your minors to act like minors? Get them to act like minors. You're sitting over here yelling, everything's done. You could be a drama queen all you want.
Yeah, turn... No. We
gotta bug these kids.
You go back, nothing's happened.
He'll go and she engaged, right? Tell her.
Girl, go walk
If
away.
you tell her.
Oh, don't get hit by a car.
Tell her. She engaged.
Oh, this shit's not listening to you.
Somebody has to be the parents of these kids.
Go pay him off. It's okay. Bye.
Massachusetts, I think it was.
Look at these people. These are actually children that go to a high school here locally. This is, again, this was all encouraged by adults. They were doing a wonderful job exercising their First Amendment until the adults wanted to be safe, to be badasses. Look at.
And the mom didn't say nothing until the cops started.
They get educated,
Yeah.
okay?
You guys don't engage him. Don't engage him. No.
And again,
Students, high students.
what happened today? Again, go back and watch the entire thing. I didn't engage with anything. That was not my duty. I told you before we went live, I was.
This is it right here. In case there's somebody here that didn't hear about this. $20 million. No, that's not it. There it is. $1 million multi-state identity theft scheme. 4 Massachusetts residents were charged with using over 100 stolen identities, which they can get off the dark web. My shit was stolen, and now like I have extra steps that have to be taken for people to get credit. Like they call me and shit or something. When before they didn't have to do that. My number's on file apparently. So yeah, most people don't have that because it's a pain in the ass for them to have to do that, you know. You have to get your identity stolen for that to happen, for you to get that privilege. It was a bitch dealing with that, dude. You don't want to deal with it. Trust me, it's not worth it. So, but yeah, most other people, dude, my information is all over the dark web. But most other people, if their information gets caught on the dark web, it's really easy for your identity to get stolen, dude. It's I don't know. They did it to me, dude. But they did it to me like before 2010. So it was like 2008, 2009, something like that, probably. Maybe 2007. I can't remember now, but maybe they're more strict for everybody now. But see, here's the thing. They got the benefits in New York, Florida, Connecticut, and other states. They allegedly use these benefits is because they were able to sign up for them online now, and they're not as stringent and make sure and also that's how they were able to sign up in multiple states. They didn't have to actually go to the states. Apparently, I'm assuming. I don't fucking know, dude. It's kind of crazy. So there's that. Now we have to worry about how much fraud is happening with the SNAP benefits. Like, it was bad enough that they could buy whatever the fuck they wanted with it, but now there's some next level shit. Residents, though, were they citizens? Oh, because look, it says right here they used started in wired proceeds of Venezuela and earlier. They weren't even fucking American. Why didn't they put in here? Oh, it's, I mean, I guess, why did they just put in here that they were illegals, though? That's kind of disappointing. I kind of copy that. Why is this shit just retarded sometimes? I gotta do Control C. It's just one person. This would, I don't know. The restaurant owner is probably the mastermind. Or he had the most to gain from it.
Not going to
Back to
engage.
these idiots.
And then when they decided to come up to me and surround me,
Double time it. Dad? Why would she call him Dad? That's just creepy. Is that her way of saying that he's old?
So, once again, we got that report. What the hell is going on?
I don't know. Shouldn't have a dad, I guess?
I don't know.
Good dad, good dad.
Way to raise them. Way to raise them.
Legal citizen. Legal. Yes, you are.
See, once again, we don't do anything. Did what was right because we're in Clovis. Going to respect my own neighborhood. Called the police to let them know what was happening. They're blocking my way of filming. They didn't want me to be there. But I'm going to end this one. If you donated and helped me out, I'll give you some updates on this tomorrow. I want to say thank you to everybody. We'll see you soon. We're going to go back to the car, guys. Peace out.
Why? Weird. You know, it ended like that. All over the internet, man. California knows how to party. Now it's 115. Numbers going up. That was 100. It's 115. I watched the briefing on it, and yeah, apparently they got to go after more people who probably have done it, but they haven't caught yet. An audit caught it, apparently. You see what I see. How the fuck does this idiot have 73,000 people watching him? I think they're mostly kids, dude. I'm convinced that he's unlocked the kid thing to get the kids to watch. I don't know. I don't have the energy for that shit, dude. Entertain kids all the time. Gotta be probably on speed, bro. Hold up. Why is this happening?
The longer they're
why
out
is
there,
this at
they
fucking
can't
40 something people? 49 people. Why would this be a thing?
Liberals.
I need to know.
Okay. You guys want to watch Pam or something like that here? Somebody likes to watch Pam TV. I don't know. But anyway, she says, MAGA goons are going around lying about my friend on X, sending Duntley person death threats and spinning the story. We all know they lie, just like their daddy Trump. This is a way to Trump believe that this is a way to Trump believe she can't speak that protesters at the Portland ICE facility are violent. You noble one, Let me see if him or BCP responded. Spider Mike responded. Himpill responded. Somebody else responded. Nobody cares here about your opinion, it looks like. I know you're trying to get people to give you attention, Pam, but it's not working.
Why?
1 minute, 18 seconds to... I'll try to watch something fun after this, okay? Just to...
This guy is a good guy. He's a really good guy. So
what happened?
what happened? This guy was going around saying peaceful protest, but he was mocking it. And a lot of people said they thought he was drinking. They could smell alcohol on him. Well, he ran over Spider Mike's foot
Mr.
and hit a few other people, not real bad. And they all got together and said, let's go over.
I've actually seen this one here, I guess. I don't care.
What?
Oh, okay.
You motherfucker. You just let it play at that point.
In relation to... What's it about the idiot who teased himself? Is that recently, Linda? Let's do a quick search here. Was it a protester that did it?
How and why is there 45 people that... Are anybody's talking though, dude? Unless they're talking somewhere else.
February 1st.
Where's this Linda person talking for? Oh, this right here? No?
Let your head back. You and the we're going to wash it, okay? We're going to wash it with distilled water behind her.
Like yesterday, the day before. Y'all see this?
You and the we're going to wash it, okay? We're going to wash it with distilled water behind her.
It looks like it stings, so that's pepper ball powder, that green shit.
Let's call 911.
Let's see that one.
Need
this
some
is the
milk.
guy that was yelling and screaming at the authorities, and then he ended up getting in a lot of trouble. If that's the one you're talking about, maybe that's what you're thinking of there. I don't see anything else about tasing or anything like that.
I fed you. Good.
I could imagine. Okay, I didn't see anything. Let's see if there's anything latest and greatest news or show. Or if people still watching me, 49 cool people. Are y'all cool people? Put a 1 if you're a cool person. Put a 2 if you're a hot person. Okay.
Oh, hot person.
1 if you're cool.
So that
2
reminds me of
or 3 if you're warm. I guess.
Steve Buscemi thing where he's in like high school again or whatever.
I would put a 3 probably.
Acting like a high schooler. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Nothing going on there. Ken Paxton. I don't care. Doing the refresh there.
It's cheesy, bro. Is that why people watch it?
Purposely try to push the agents' buttons. Yes, they do. Trying to break their spirits. Yep. So that way they will be more aggressive.
I asked him once why his nose is like that, and he told me it was born like that.
Ooh, when was this? 34 minutes ago. PDX Real.
I don't know why that was a moment for us.
Mayor Wilson in public at what appears to be a bar. They were supposed to go to his
probably
house
banned me. That's why I don't like him.
The next day or 2 or something like that. Anyway, Wilson doesn't answer the questions leveled at him.
I'm banned.
And tries to escape. One of the protesters tells him that city council members told them
for no damn reason.
Do this.
Right, for asking about his damn nose.
The same group plans a protest in front of the mayor's house on the 7th in 2 days. What the heck?
It's a very oddly shaped nose, dude. I thought it got blown out by smoke or something.
Immigrants' rights activists trying to speaking to Portland Mayor Keith Wilson to ask what he's doing to revoke the permits and are kicked out.
You understand me, son. There's a face shot of him. If my nose is that blown out, I wouldn't have me as my fucking avatar. If my nose did that.
I think that's encouraging, though.
I can't find it.
Encouraging to see that.
No, sir. I don't say it doesn't look like he was born like that, bro. On that. I don't know about that shit. I ain't never seen that before. Ever. And I've seen a lot of people. More than most. Different types all over the place. Cash Patel. That's not live. Fuck out of here. They're watching old Oreo. Oh, Hamas being bad boys. New footage shows Hamas violating ceasefire using ambulances for ammunition transport. These motherfuckers. Ed, they're all good. I'm the burp master. Everybody knows now. No accolades needed with my supremacy. I have burp supremacy on YouTube, in life. My neighbors know. People that drive by know. Simply the best. You know what I'm saying? I just came in late on my foot.
You're simply the best. Better than all the rest. Better than anyone.
I'm a burper. Well, thank you, Tina. Wish I had one right now for you. There's no audio for this that we're watching, by the way. Pretty sure it looped because they motherfucking New Yorkers love their fucking loop shit over here. Pulpit cheap. What was he talking about? No. I can't get those, so I don't want to watch it. I mean, a little off key there. All on it, on my foot. Chilling. You're not going anywhere. Why isn't there anything worth watching anymore? British Parliament discusses Epstein files investigations. Black Hawk Down. Dude, some of them I've watched before already. They don't show up as purple. Oh, what I wanted to watch actually was this from. I watched this earlier today. I'll look at what I watched.
Click.
I actually watched
This
the whole
video
thing.
has shocked me to my core.
This is what I'm talking about. I've been talking about this.
According to the research,
I don't align with his beliefs on
all
everything.
of the problems that we're experiencing politically, from the emergence of political violence, the discohesion in society, is the fault of women. Now, I'm actually only like somewhat kidding, because there's a lot of Republican women and conservative women that do a great job. But what we are seeing is a macro level trend. And we have this amazing video that breaks down this macro level trend. And that is not to be a dick, but the truth is women have voting patterns and men have different voting patterns. And the problem is women prioritize very different things for
talking about this same topic.
Evolutionary psychological reasons. When you look at the latest data, I've got it pulled up from Pew. You track how women are voting and what they prioritize, all of it starts to come into focus. Now, some of you, many of you, probably not the bulk of my audience, but agree with how women prioritize things. The problem is men prioritize things based on logic and justice, and women approach things based not on logic, but on feelings and emotion. And I do believe that it is important for the human experience to have a balance of both. In certain circumstances, we want to be emotional. In certain circumstances, we don't want to be.
But I think that I was best left after sex. Like the woman talking to the dude, you know what I mean? Or whatever, you know what I mean? Getting into his head about shit and getting him to start thinking about it. And that's how the woman had their voting power. It was through men. The man was the conduit for their vote. And it worked very well for a long time.
But the question ultimately comes down to this. The patriarchy. The ultimate question. I ask you now to comment below. The story is, you are walking outside when you come across a spider's web. In that spider's web is a butterfly trapped. Do you free it? Now this question, it's an old question. And it's meant to make the point about what we
got a lot of the
value
bugs that
as human beings.
Our flies.
And
I
it
live in
is
an
true
alleyway.
and factual that the feminine would choose to free the butterfly,
Free the butterfly
and the masculine
or the
would
fly to
choose
get caught.
not to. It's not absolute. Some women would leave the butterfly. Some men would
That doesn't
free the
make me
butterfly.
feminine either,
The point is,
motherfucker.
the logic of the circumstance is that while butterflies play an important role in our ecosystem, spiders do as well, and spiders need to eat. Why would we value one
depend
over
on
the other?
how much
Well, emotionally,
food
we
is
recognize
available
the
for the
butterfly is
spider.
beautiful. And spiders are creepy. But logically, we understand that there is balance in all things. Sometimes the butterflies get eaten, sometimes they don't. And the spider has every right to hunt and survive, same as the butterfly. And that is the question we ask politically. And too much of what we experience in this world, my friends, in our political environment, is freeing the butterfly. It doesn't really make sense, but it tends to feel good. And so you can take a look at the latest shifts that we've seen in the culture war, notably that it appears now child transgender medical intervention, I'm trying to phrase it neutrally, is being ended because the logic didn't pan out. And you know what? The logic bore a false fairness. Initially, when these people emerged and said these poor trans children need support, many people on the left, mainly females, said we must be fair and think of what would make them happy, but they didn't think long term. And the pain that has resulted in this has caused a feminine shift. Now that there's more information available, the men who are planning long-term who kind of understood if you give kids surgery, it's going to cause problems. And there were, again, many women, but it tended to be a more male approach. What we're seeing now is not that women have largely recognized that they were wrong the whole time, but that new information has emerged, which has created a new emotional conundrum. That is, children who underwent these transgender surgeries and interventions are unhappy. So now the female voter is seeing more and more unhappy people asking to be freed from that spider's web. They don't think in the long term. I want to play this video for you, which is absolutely fascinating and quite eloquently put. That basically says femininity
this lady's definitely
is what's
autistic,
causing
but
all
the
of
good
these
kind.
problems. I'm paraphrasing, but watch the video. But before we do, my friends, one thing you absolutely must do is join our Discord month. There's some community prepared.
You could say,
and see what this lady has to say.
but if you want to put it in a single sentence, you could say that feminization equals wokeness. Everything you think of as wokeness is simply an epiphenomenon of demographic feminization. Think about all the things that wokeness means. Valuing empathy over rationality, safety over risk, conformity and cohesion over competition and hierarchy. All of these things are privileging the feminine over the masculine. So if you have ever wondered why wokeness appeared out of nowhere when it did, that is my hypothesis, that all of the institutions that began admitting women in the 1970s eventually got enough women that they were able to reorient them.
We were talking about this
For
last
example,
night.
women are consistently less supportive of free speech than men in surveys asking which is more important, protecting free speech or preserving an inclusive society. Approximately 2/3 of men say free speech, and approximately 2/3 of women say inclusive society. In moral reasoning, the traditional way of phrasing the difference between men and women is to say that women have an ethics of caring and men have an ethics of justice. In making a moral judgment, men will ask, what are the rules and what are the facts? Women tend to be more interested in context and relationships. So let's apply that to wokeness. When James Damore wrote his famous, or I should say notorious memo for Google, arguing that female underrepresentation in the hard sciences might not be the result of bias and prejudice, no one even attempted to argue that he was wrong on the facts. The reason that he was fired was because the things he had written might make his female coworkers feel bad. Or consider the Kavanaugh hearings. The masculine position was to say that maybe something bad happened to you, but if you do not have evidence, then we can't allow you to ruin a man's life and career over it. The feminine position was to say, how can you talk about rules of evidence? Can't you see she's crying? Now, to be clear, many women were revolted by the way the Kavanaugh hearings played out. In fact, the very best book on the Kavanaugh hearings was written by two women, Molly Hemingway and Carrie Severino. But a political system in which men predominate will tend to operate according to rules of facts and objectivity, and one in which women predominate will tend to operate by the rules of emotions and subjective facts, even if there are individual men and women who fall on the opposite side of those camps.
And
Democrats are mostly women, or women are mostly Democrats, so I think their percentage of people is more highly made up of women. So anytime there's a Democrat majority, that's highly swayed by women. That's how I'm looking at it, dude. Am I the only one here? They're going to be Democrats more because they're the feel good people.
they do, in fact, my friends. So this is Helen Andrews, her provocative thesis, feminization equals wokeness. And I gotta be honest, it's not a secret. We all actually knew this. The commentary on repealing the 19th has been around for quite some time, largely for this reason. People, men and women alike, largely recognize that macro level voting trends are that there are macro level voting trends among different demographics. And so therein lies the deep challenge. Should we ban all women from voting? Comment below, because I know a lot of people are going to say yes.
Is the question.
I don't agree. I don't believe we should ban all women from voting just because there's a macro level trend. But I do believe it is fair to point out there are macro level trends. There's a funny meme where it's Nolan from the show Invincible, and he's talking to his wife, and he says, what does he says? On average, women are 5'6", and she goes, but I'm 5'4", and then he sips his coffee. The point being that the meme is meant to represent this trope where women don't understand averages. That the guy is not saying literally every single woman all the time. He's saying that if you rounded all the numbers out. If we look at the macro level trends, you find that women tend to vote for things that are ultimately detrimental to society. That is a macro level trend. But of course, as Helen Andrews...
Yeah, it's like, dude, I think some governments, city governments in particular, are feminine somehow. They've gotten feminine in their beliefs, even if they have a majority of men. Like, the men are feminine. They're like beta men. I was watching Minneapolis this morning as they talked about like renter assistance to just give people free money because they're scared to leave their houses. And them talking about all kinds of stuff, or maybe is it for homeowners, is it for renters? Like, we got to get it to them now. Some dude, the gay one was saying, the gay Latino, oh, he was all for it, the gay Latino dude. It was a trip, dude. Watched it for a couple hours. And some cities are feminine somehow. Like, why does LA have a female mayor? Does that make any sense? A female black mayor. Are black female women known for being like really good at managing shit? Besides Oprah Winfrey, we'll just leave her out of it. She no longer exists. Boom. Anybody? Is there anybody else? Why would we do that?
Just pointed out, Molly Hemingway wrote a let me actually make sure I give credit where credit is due, and his Molly Hemingway and Molly
Take a
Hemingway
chance
and
on it and see if
Carrie
it pans
Severino.
out.
Sorry, I don't remember your name. Have done great work.
give it
There
a
are many
chance.
prominent female personalities, but I do think this. I do believe that even at a largely individualistic metric, men and women prioritize deeply different things. And the reason why Carrie and Molly wrote that book upset about what had happened to Brett Kavanaugh is not because they think like men. In fact, they think like women. They just have access to more information. That is, I genuinely believe that men and women are fundamentally different even in their thought processes. That men emotionally, based on the hormones in their body, will contemplate something differently, even if it sounds the same. That is, it's almost like that trope from, The Giver or whatever, that what color I see as red, you may see as yellow, but we will never know because we can only see the color as we see it. And then and how do you define the color, right? When you look to define colors, you ask what is red, it's the color.
Remember the purple yellow skirt meme? People say it was yellow, some people say it was purple. That shit was wild. Lasted for a month or two, didn't it?
Color of an apple or a
Back
fire
in the
truck.
day.
And then sometimes fire trucks are white or yellow or who knows. The point is, it's hard to define what a color is. You can only describe it in reference to something else. Here's what I'm trying to say. I believe that if you were actually able to step outside of reality, or even with modern technology in the future, analyze the brain patterns, you'd find that Molly Hemingway and Carrie Severino's assessment of the Kavanaugh hearing is much, much still feminine. That is, women tend to care about fairness and feelings. And I believe that Molly and Carrie are still motivated much by that, although it's to varying degrees. We say that gender is bimodal, not binary. And what that means is there are some feminine men and some masculine women. But again, and I don't mean this to be in any way disparaging to Molly.
Probably right. Talking about. Dude talking about. Idiot. Get out of my face. It's proven already. What's happening here? Dummy. Slap him. Time we see him. With a lawsuit. And lawsuit. I make one of them stick though. California. Just had a oh, there's Simon. Fucking eat your food, Sawyer. Come on, eat your food. Eat your. No, don't stop. I actually lay in my lap too and everything. All right, I'll let you then. Brought you up here. Batteries, man. He feels like he's losing weight fast. Yellow's dead. Go. don't have to listen to that if I don't want to. It's a boring protest. I don't think I'm gonna stay here. Very boring, very whistly, very annoying. I guess Simon actually wanted to lay in my lap right now. I figured he was just gonna jump down. He was like, alright, alright, alright. These sausages I gotta cook, dude. These thick-skinned sausages.
With the Sultans. With the Sultans.
Only that's the only thing right here. I'll leave you with the whistles for a second while I go get this pot of water and boiling. The sausages. What are you guys looking at over there? Daddy, would you like some sausages? And then
Police system so he could eat sausage and work on his stupid drawings.
I'm being creative. Now, if you'll excuse me, I still have some work to do.
Daddy, would you like some sausage? Daddy, would you like some sausages? Daddy, would you like some sausage? Sausages, sausages.
Director?
it's so stupid. You know? You ever just want sausages like that? Ladies. ladies don't like the sausages. The man thing. The men like the sausages. Nice and thick. Yeah. 3 inches of thickness. I measure mine circumference, not diameter. My sausages. When I get them home, I try to see what all their circumference is. I don't actually do that. I could, another life. Here I go. And the sausage master. It's the guy to talk to. Dude, he just willingly went into his cage. He acted like he wanted to go in on the perch up here. I brought his food bowl out to make sure it wasn't because of the food. I think it was because of the food. He wants more food. Got right back out. I got the timer. These sausages. Oh, paging Mr. Herman. Oh.
No!
Oh, let me show you what I was watching earlier. This shit's funny. Indianapolis also. Where's it at? So I just hovered over. Shows me watching it. Still today. There it is. This.
Just to cater to a.
Oh, look, first off, there's like this guy. I haven't seen this part.
Immigrant. It's community. My community. Member President.
Vice President Osman.
Oh, he's
Thank you
vice
so much,
president?
President Payne.
The Somali's vice president.
It's an immigrant, a council member who's here, a member of this body, and
what is that?
someone who federal government attacked its community, my community. I think I can speak for immigrants.
Or like the last half of it.
What have we done since this crisis has happened? Other than go to the press conference and just talk and tell people they have rights, which I don't even know we do anymore. What is the city of Minneapolis doing?
I haven't seen
what's more crisis than what we're facing today on the streets
I almost
of
went
city of
live with
Minneapolis?
this.
Look back to the history.
Because it was like, what the hell? These people are retarded.
It's up there. We got families that are getting kidnapped. Maybe the average person in Minneapolis not thinking about, I don't know who's going to pick up my kids today from school when I'm no longer there, and I've been kidnapped by ICE, and in a few hours back to Texas. It's about the children. It's about this.
It's about the children.
Human beings that are being attacked by so many ways. It's not about choosing one group or another. It's about responding to specific harm that's happening to our most vulnerable people, immigrants.
Oh, you
who
didn't
are
say
being
disappeared.
targeted. Maybe it's not happening to your
The
community
memo.
you're a member of today, but history teaches it happens to all the communities. We're being targeted. I don't know if you watch the national news. We're being called garbage. We're being othered. We're being discriminated. We're being killed in Minneapolis on the streets. I don't know what's more emergency than going to the contingent funding. This is what the city is supposed to do. It's supposed to look out for.
What this is all about is trying to get funds approved, $1 million approved, to be specific, which is only 1% of their budget, apparently. So they're making a big deal about that later. The gay Latino guy was. Like, it's just a little bit. Just give it to him.
For its citizens, and community members are raising money. That's great, but we can sit here and say, oh, the local government's not doing anything. We can't even touch specific money that we put for this kind of activities or this kind of situation when they arise. So I don't know. It's kind of really sad that to hear that we can't tap this money because it's not emergency enough or for whatever reason. It is more emergency than anything else. I'm looking at the city leadership. I'm looking at the administration. Enough with the press conferences and promises that's not really. ICE is here. We heard yesterday. They will be here. They're not leaving. Your conversation on the federal government. I'm looking at the governor. I'm looking at the mayor. I'm looking at all the council members, at the city leaders. This is needed. This is actually one of the least thing we can do. We're not protecting our residents out there that are being kidnapped, that are being harassed. We can't even do anything because we are afraid of being invaded by the military. It's been very difficult and emotional for everyone. And we can kind of throw all kind of things out there and say, people are afraid to go seek money for the government. No. If I can't pay the rent, I'm going to go get the money from anywhere there is. Because Minneapolis has a separation ordinance. People understand. People trust me. They trust people like Councilmember Chavez, who can communicate through that. City of Minneapolis is safe, a place that you can go get help. If this fails, I will be the most disappointing thing the entire time I've been here. There's absolutely nothing more emergency than what's been happening the last 4 years. It's not happening to all groups, but it's happening to specific groups that are being targeted, that have it the hardest. The stories are horrifying. A mom who just gave birth was snatched from her baby. In a few hours, she was put in an airplane. She would never see that baby again. Is that a story that any human being can relate to? So let's save that baby's house today. That's what it's about. And thank you, colleagues, for speaking out, for continuing to stand for the marginalized communities, for targeted communities by the strong force of federal government. Thank you.
Councilmember Wansley.
Thank you, President Payne. I just wanted to address some of the concerns raised about Hennepin County's ability or efficacy in being able to administer these funds. And some of the concerns I heard raised during our conversation right now and even on Tuesday was rooted in perceptions around fraudulent activities. And I just first want to implore us to use caution when using fraud as a basis of creating distrust with government agencies, especially in light of that same type of rhetoric being weaponized by right-wing and MAGA pundits and officials who used it and weaponized it to lay the groundwork for Trump's enactment of Operation Metro Surge, which has created the conditions for us to even have to consider rental assistance in the first place to protect residents who are having to shelter in place as a defense mechanism against ICE. So I would just implore us to be cautious about using that language. And also just to further double down on the fact that Hennepin County is a reputable agency. Our own staff highlighted this on Tuesday, but they have attorneys who advise them on how to comply with all relevant rules and regulations. And they have been dispersing rental assistance for years in a legally compliant and legitimate way. And they've actually won national recognition for this work. And I would implore also, if any member of this body has evidence that Hennepin County is committing fraud in rental assistance, then please go submit evidence to the authorities located right across the street, or consider joining the MAGA movement, because those are kind of the two avenues that you have right now. But I want to note also, I shared this on Tuesday, the county also sent a letter over to this body where they highlighted, once again, their ability to meet this need. Specifically in the letter sent by David Hewitt, the Director of Housing Stability there. The letter states in 2025 alone, Hennepin County administered approximately $11 million in emergency rental assistance to 3,000 households facing eviction. And they were able to do so effectively by braiding a variety of state and local funding sources with unique requirements and criteria, while ensuring payments were delivered in a timely manner for applicants, averaging 14 days from the initial request in 2025. And then with the ability to be able to deploy these resources using even the city's appropriation that we're considering today. At the end of the letter, they named Hennepin County has the ability to leverage its various funding streams in Rent Help Hennepin to ensure any new funding for rental assistance reaches residents quickly and while a funding agreement is codified. So there is parameters and procedures in place to make sure that these dollars get out the door once they are approved and sent over to Hennepin County upon the completion of that joint agreement or funding agreement that we talked about yesterday and that staff mentioned is a requirement of this process. So I at least wanted to highlight that they have the ability to. And once again, to reiterate, there is no way you are going to GoFundMe our way out of a eviction crisis. This funding, governmental funding, is literally the last line of defense, and Councilmember Chuck Ty highlighted this. For every single person who do not have access to a mutual aid network or who are not able to have a neighbor fundraise for them, this is a resource for them, because there's thousands of residents who do not have access to that network. And as Councilmember Osmond highlighted, they will be seeking out support from their governmental partners. And state legislators know that, because when they move their emergency rental assistance package, which is being led by Senator Port, guess where they're sending that money to? They're not sending it to your local neighbors. They're sending it to counties. They're sending it to fellow aligned governmental agencies to disperse emergency relief so that people can have the resources they need to stay housed. So this is one of the ways in which we can prevent eviction, as opposed to waiting for it to happen and still being the same conundrum of people being at our doors saying, why did you let this happen, when you had a mechanism to prevent it? And this gives us that preventative opportunity to show up for our residents who are doing 10 times more than any of us are doing in this moment. It has been for several weeks. To say $1 million is a drop in the bucket of what we can offer right now, and we're going to do everything that we can to mobilize other governmental leaders to give and mobilize resources with the expediency that it deserves and the urgency it deserves.
You're at time, Councilmember.
Thank you.
Yep. Councilmember Warren.
Thank you, Council President Payne and Minority Leader Wansley. I appreciate your comments. And we won't use the word fraud, but what we will say, if you're offended by that, I don't want to offend you in that respect, but it definitely is a very real and present instance that we are facing here in the state of Minnesota. My uncle drove for Metropolitan Transit for over 5-6 years, ended up with stage 4 cancer, living in his apartment right in Southside Minneapolis in the City View, right off of Hiawatha. He also did part-time property management there, so his apartment was discounted because of his property management. When he ended up with stage 4 cancer just this past year, was not able to get an expedited caddy waiver, was not able to get emergency assistance, was not able to get any of his essential needs met because there was not a plan for sustainability. Again, I want to highlight so that you understand, because I have been a welfare recipient. I received 437. I stood in the food stamp line on Franklin. I know how these programs work. So when you go down there and you apply, what they're going to ask you is, do you have the ability to pay going forward? If we provide you with $2,000, $2,500, if we activate an application because your lights are getting cut off or your gas is getting disconnected, what is your plan for sustainability going forward? If we have families who are unfortunately being kidnapped and robbed and taken away from whomever, and they do not have sustainable income in the household, they are not going to be eligible for these targeted funds. Again, the individuals who need it will not be the ones who receive it. And we have to also keep in mind, even pivoting these funds to nonprofit organizations who, again, the county is reputable, these nonprofit organizations are reputable, but anytime they give out a dollar, be it petty cash or what have you, there has to be an accounting of a name, place, who, what, where, why, when, how, what this looked like and what it was for, of where these funds went to. I am licensed with the Department of Housing and Urban Development. When you fill out a 9902 form to report to HUD of what you do with funding, it states who, what, where, why, when, and how. Anything with respect to housing. Actually, so I want us to be cautious. And
I actually watched most of this because I watched this morning, so I guess this is where I picked it up, like around when this lady first started talking. But it's great, dude, and the insight it gives on what a blue city, how it's run.
Educated on what it is that we're doing.
I seriously wanted to go live, but I just had so much shit I want to take care of today, and sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I got these cats too. It was early. It was like 7:30 this morning.
I'm not saying that I don't want to help our immigrant families and families in need. We not only have people who need rental assistance, but we also have families that are homeowners that are drowning in their homeowner debt because they cannot afford to pay their mortgages because they have been disrupted and disenfranchised in this situation. We need to figure out how to help them too. But it will not be able to come from a city or a county or a nonprofit organization. It is going to take individual collective efficacy. And if people are in fear of data breach, data privacy, disruption, people following Uber drivers, food delivery people, and all of these other things that are jeopardizing the safety and well-being of our immigrant families and community members, we have to be cautious and very careful of what protection looks like and how we protect those individuals. And I don't believe that it is something that should be be discussed on a dais. I think we should take a note during this great Black History Month out of the Underground Railroad and not be blasting people's business all over the city, because that is not how we protect our most vulnerable. That is not how that works. And I thank you so much for your time, consideration. I love you all. The end.
Councilmember Stevenson.
Thank you, Council President. I have a few questions. I'm not sure if the clerk, attorney, or you, Mr. President, can answer these for me. I am new, as well as some others here, and so I just have a few questions about the different funds. What is the definition of what an eligible use for the contingency fund?
Mr. Attorney, would you like to speak to that?
Okay, so again, if you're just joining, this is about them using $1 million to fund giving people rent assistance because they're scared to leave their house because ICE there.
Unfortunately, I'm not the appropriate person to speak to that. I think if we could have someone from finance here to speak to how the fund balances work. Are they in the back? Okay.
Do we have any professional staff in the back that could come to the chambers to speak to Councilmember Stevenson's question?
She's coming. Great. The worst part. No, it's the question.
It's a major city, dude, in our country. It seems like they don't know what the hell they're doing. That's what happens when you get the women vote.
Nothing
Yeah.
first.
Welcome. Did you catch the question from?
I did not.
Okay. Councilmember Stevenson, would you like to ask your question again, and then if you could introduce yourself?
Yeah.
Yo,
So
this
my
lady
question
knows
is,
her stuff.
what's the definition of allowable uses for a contingency fund?
Through the chair, council members, contingency is defined only in the financial policies. I believe the language, and perhaps the budget chair has it pulled up, but is around unanticipated expenses.
Councilmember Chugtai.
Yeah, thank you. Contingency in our financial policies is defined as the budget that we set aside for undesignated expenditures. These expenditures cannot be placed in departmental budgets, primarily because the level and timing of expenditures are uncertain when the budget is adopted. These funds are earmarked for emergency or unanticipated expenses, special projects, or revenue shortfalls. What that means is an eligible use is something that we could not have planned for.
Wait a second. It's this chick.
When we adopted the
know her
budget
stuff.
in December of 2025.
Thank you.
Is that accurate, CFO? Deputy
Through the chair, yes, I think it is largely, the language is not more specific than that. And I believe I forgot to introduce myself. So Jane DeSenza, I'm the Deputy CFO for the city.
Thank you, and we haven't met, so I'm looking forward to sit down sometime. This crisis we're in seems unanticipated. I don't think any of us thought we would be starting this term with the federal government murdering our neighbors, and it started in December, but kidnapping thousands and thousands of others, so this seems pretty unanticipated and urgent to me. Could someone please share what the last use of contingency funds was?
Deputy CFO, do you recall?
This is funny.
I get.
Correct.
Through the chair, the council has voted affirmatively a few times over the past few years. I believe Agate was one of the last. I know there was potentially a Vivo South when that was under deliberations was going to be. And then just generally in operations, when we overspend our expenditure budget, that is also a reason for the contingency to be there. That's why it's so important that we have a contingency budgeted every year. So when we have cost overruns and revenue shortfalls, as we had last year, the contingency is a valuable cushion for that as well.
Are we expecting overruns currently?
Through the chair, Councilmember, yes, absolutely. Departments are incurring major costs in responding to this crisis. And so we have a very small cushion of general fund balance before we hit our minimum fund balance. And then the contingency is further cushion there.
Okay. So are there current plans to use this contingency for certain uses?
Through the chair, there are not specific plans to use it, but it's early in the year. We don't know what else may befall us besides this crisis, and so I think finance would urge caution in deploying further resources at the moment.
Okay. How often were contingency funds used last year?
Through the chair, I do not believe there was a council vote on contingency funds, but we'd have to do some LIMS research to confirm that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, from what I see,
Councilmember Stevenson, I think our budget chair may have an answer to that.
Okay.
Yeah, so there were, the agate example that Deputy CFO DeSenza highlighted, I know you experienced that as a person that was impacted on the employee side in that important fight. That was a use of contingency that was approved contingent on matching funds, and so it never actually went out the door, even though the use was approved. Another example that comes to mind is the MIWRC, the Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center, where we authorized $100,000 for them to expand their warming shelters and have the capacity to keep those open longer. That was a use of contingency that was both approved and actually went out the door.
I didn't realize when I started this line of questioning that I was personally involved with both uses of the contingency last year.
That part.
That's interesting. So it sounds like housing issues have been a frequent use of contingency funds, at least recently. I do want to mention again that this is perhaps the most unanticipated and most urgent situation we potentially could have imagined. So this really fits the definition of what contingency could be used for, as far as I am seeing it. And I would urge my colleagues to do this as well. I would like to note one thing about another use, and I'm not realizing how much time. I have 30 seconds left.
They're talking about giving illegals rent money so that they don't have to leave their house.
If we take this money from the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, we will be going against stated priorities of this body, including the mayor in his inauguration speech. He spoke very eloquently and powerfully about building affordable housing everywhere in the city. Cutting these funds will go directly against that. I support the mayor's priority of building more affordable housing. My community, on a day-to-day, prior to the invasion, housing issues were the biggest issues, dealing with unsheltered homelessness, dealing with evictions, rents being too high, it being too expensive to buy a home. So I'm loath to take from affordable housing in order to do this, and I see this as the most urgent and unanticipated expense, and so I would urge us to use
contingency. Does he seem like an alpha male or a beta bitch? I think he seems like a beta bitch. You go with the bald head.
So I want to start actually by addressing a question that Councilmember Vitaw asked quite a while ago during discussion, which is around what is the backlog
this lady's more alpha than he is. She's running the
resources
show with him,
for rental assistance at Hennepin County.
This is
it
Handler.
has been confirmed yesterday through the Director of Housing Stability at Hennepin County that there is currently no backlog for the rental assistance fund at Hennepin County. I think as we were having this discussion on Tuesday, there were several sets of numbers that were thrown around, and it took us a little bit of time as we were having this discussion to just dig a little bit deeper, double check, triple check what's happening. So of the $10 million that they have allocated, approximately at this point, about $1 million of that has been dispersed to every person who has applied and has been eligible to receive these funds. And it is important to note that the $1 million at this point in the year is comparable to last year, which tells us that the severity of the crisis has not yet hit where evictions are being filed. A part of that is also that we've extended pre-eviction notice here in Minneapolis, which means that, if you're a person that didn't pay your rent in January, you're likely getting your pre-eviction notice and you had an additional cushion, and so I think that's an important factor. I appreciate that we have talked about, how our emergency management director has brought up the roadmap ahead that, that recovery from this moment that we are living through, that we don't know when it's going to end, right? Is going to take years and years. I think an important factor that both our deputy CFO and our economic development staff have brought up is what happens as half of all immigrant-owned businesses in our city are shut down. What happens as people's hours are cut, they're losing their jobs, they're sheltering in place, their families are being impacted by family separation through deportations. As there's more economic instability within individual families, the risk of people losing their homes and then subsequently having an eviction that follows them on their record permanently, making it harder for them to access housing for the next decade of that family's life, right? What happens as people then are pushed out of our city and the economic impact that has on property values here. That we need to, the best tools we have right now are ones that keep our communities stable. This is the last safety net that catches people before they end up unstable, out of a home, unable to rent it again, forced to leave the city and be displaced out of Minneapolis. And I think that is just worth continuing to uplift. And then I want to end with talking about the people who need this assistance and whether they will be eligible to receive it. I really feel like I need to strongly assert that if you are a person who is making minimum wage and you couldn't pay your rent for whatever reason, and you have been served eviction papers, you are a person in need, objectively. And we got to move past saying that the wrong group of people or people who don't really need it are going to end up with this assistance. Thank you.
Assistance like this.
Councilmember Schaefer.
Thank you, President Payne.
Stupid.
And thank you, first of all, to all my colleagues for bringing this important topic forward. I hear all of our hearts around this issue, and it is time to bring this forward for a discussion. I had a couple more questions for Director DeZenza. First of all, could you give me an overview of where we are approximately at over budget across all departments in related to the ICE scourge on our city?
Through the chair, Councilmember Schaefer, we've seen at least $5 million of spending from city departments just associated with those couple weeks in January. So for just the police department, I think we're at $4.3 million in overtime associated with this response. So if you project that out, certainly over budget.
And then there's Minneapolis Fire Department, Public Works. Would those be the main two other departments that have been greatly affected?
Through the chair, I think every city department has contributed staff time and energy to our emergency operations center. I know finance, the CPAD, health, we could go through all 26 departments. They are all contributing hours to that response.
Yep. Thank you. And do you foresee that any of these impacts as we continue this year could could affect our long-term health, our budgetary health, or our bond rating. Could you kind of speak just from your 50,000 foot perspective on that impact?
Through the chair, council members, certainly zooming out, the city has many obligations, and we serve all of our residents, and we need to meet those obligations. As I mentioned previously, we have a small cushion between where our general fund balance is projected to sit at the end of 2026, assuming departments don't overspend their budgets this year. And again, that may be difficult given what they are being forced to do because of the federal incursion. The risk long-term for the city, if we are to deplete our resources this year, we've been put on notice by bond rating agencies. They are watching our use of fund balance. We have a AAA rating, and that matters for constituents because it allows us to borrow at a lower rate to do our capital work. Yeah. So I think the concern long-term would be that without raising property taxes, we would risk dipping below that minimum fund balance, and residents would feel the impacts of that.
Thank you for those comments. I appreciate that's all the questions I had.
It's really going to affect property owners more than anybody. I do have some questions for this potential third proposal that may come forward. I'm happy to ask those now of Director Hansen, or if we should wait till later. People are leaving, President Payne, do you have a preference?
You have 4 minutes.
All right. Director Hansen, I had a couple questions around this. I noticed in the language, I didn't foresee any specifics around a joint committee established in the resolution. Can you speak to a little bit about how this partnership would work and what authority we would have or ability to put boundaries on the direction of the use of that funds might be? In particular, obviously, we would like to make sure this doesn't go to suburban county residents, but would stay in Minneapolis. Secondly, is there options for condo owners or homeowners in this housing assistance area, or is this specific rental? Is there flexibility within Hennepin County to look at both of those? Those would be the main two things to start with.
All right. Good morning, Council President Payne, council members. My name is Eric Hansen. I am the director of CPED. And to answer through Council President Payne, Councilmember Schaefer's questions, the first question, I don't know exactly what resolution you're looking at, but if it's the one that's published in LIMS under Councilmember Wansley's name, this is for rental assistance through the county through a joint powers agreement for those impacted by Operation Metro Surge. Is that correct? Any. Okay, because I was looking at was in LIMS file. We would work on a agreement with the county. That agreement would come back to the council for approval. It is our understanding it would be their current program. We would be adding funding to their current program under their current guidelines. I am not aware of any assistance, true rental assistance, that would affect homeowners. I don't believe that's in the cards, in their programs. It is a question I can confirm, but you should be, you're probably looking at just renters in this program.
Okay. But that's something you could confirm with Hennepin County. I know during COVID, I believe there was some for homeowners, but I could be incorrect.
If their person got deported, they're just fucked.
Council President, Councilmember Schaefer, there are some for foreclosure prevention programs.
How about the fucking homeowners before the renters?
For foreclosure prevention programs.
Thank you. That's very helpful. Thank you, Director Hansen. That's all the questions that I had for you.
Thank you.
The renters are probably illegals,
yes, I would love
and
to
the
see some
homeowners
joint
are probably
powers
citizens.
agreement added to this
And they
language,
wonder why they're purging
unless I'm
people
missing
that
something
aren't
here in the
citizens.
third resolution that we will get to eventually.
That are citizens.
But I do want to say I cannot support taking this $1 million from the contingency or the general fund. When I hear the director of finances of our city describe that we've already gotten question marks about our bond rating, when there is already $5 million of overtime spent, that we need to take care of the residents of our city, that gives me pause. So I will not be able to support use. I am supportive of rental assistance, but in the first case of contingency funds, I will not be able to support. Thank you.
Councilmember Chavez.
Thank you, Council President Payne. Director DeSenza, can you let us know what percentage of the $1 million that is being proposed is for the entire budget?
This is what I was talking about earlier, the 1%.
Through the chair, could you repeat the question, please?
What percentage of the $1
You knew
million
the answer already.
the $1 million, what percentage is that compared to the entire city budget?
The entire city budget is on the order of $2 billion. Our general fund is around $700 million. So the contingency is required to be 1% of the general fund budget.
Okay. Thank you. Colleagues and Council President Payne, I hope that members of the public are actually watching this meeting unfold and that they rewatch the committee of the whole meeting, because I am extremely disappointed. I did not hear concerns about a source until today. In fact, what we heard in Cal and today is that this vote is somehow fraudulent and that we are cherry picking, which is not true. That rhetoric is very dangerous. In fact, it is the same rhetoric that Donald Trump uses to kidnap our immigrant neighbors in this country. It is not fraudulent to want to prevent the eviction of our neighbors. It is not fraudulent to support neighbors with rental assistance. It is not fraudulent to lift the voices of our immigrant neighbors who are in need. It is not fraudulent to want to support neighbors who need help with rental assistance despite their immigration background. And I will say that our immigrant neighbors and neighbors who are in need, which can be two separate communities, live in every single ward in the city of Minneapolis. I would encourage members of this body, this 13-member body that I'm disappointed to be a part of today, to talk to your constituents. Neighbors across the city are scared right now. They are late in paying rent. February 1st just passed. Rental eviction notices are on the rise. And I'm just extremely disappointed about this conversation today.
Actually, not
it
on the
actually makes
rise.
me sick to my stomach.
He's wrong about that.
What I have heard from residents across the city of Minneapolis is that we are not doing enough and that we need to do more. And what I will say is that we cannot rely on the backs of our neighbors and our neighbors across the country to keep everyone on float. We should not be asking the community to fundraise if we aren't willing to fund those same initiatives. I also need to bring us back to what Minneapolis residents are experiencing, because I think it's important to center what we are doing today instead of this quote-unquote fraudulent activity. I will say that many of our neighbors have been impacted by Operation Metro Surge, and those individuals are also our neighbors. People impacted by Operation Metro Surge are our residents. They may not be able to vote sometimes, but they are our residents, despite their immigration background.
Dude, I'm just gonna be real with it. It's like the whole civil rights movement thing, right? Like they're like white people. Sure, reparations. Our reparations are feeling a little somewhat guilty for what our ancestors did. You know what I mean? That's your reparations, motherfucker. But you know what? I don't feel guilty at all about what my ancestors did to the Mexicans or Latinos that we got the land from. I'm sorry, motherfucker. We won that shit. So it's not the same. It's like I don't have this same like, oh yeah, the poor people. It is. I was just talking about this yesterday. This guy was rummaging through my recycling, and he was a black dude. But because I don't know, he had a cool ass attitude about it too. He just busted out laughing when he saw that I dumped all my shit out of the bags, and it was just a big ass thing full of the cans and everything, mostly cat cans. But he dug through it, and I let him. But if it would have been somebody who looked like they were illegal, I would have yelled at them and said something, because I got a different connection with those people. You know, I grew up in Memphis too, though, but mostly black. So I got it's different. Motherfucker. So most people aren't down with this, I think. The kids are the most down with it. The kids.
I have never felt more unwelcome on the city council.
What's wrong with all these dumbass kids?
I will say that out loud. I am freaking heartbroken. There was a 2-year-old in Ward 9 that was kidnapped by ICE in Parterhorn.
No, it's not that I have white guilt, dude. It's gotta have more history with them, I think, is why I feel the more of a connection with them. Growing up in Memphis, you know, growing up closer to the history of Memphis. Martin Luther King was shot in Memphis, dude. I went to like that anti-KKK. I was a counter protester at a KKK rally when I was a teenager. Like, I didn't have to go to that event. I knew what I was going to. So I got a little bit more history with black people than I do with the Latinos of our country. I didn't grow up in California. Maybe if I'd have grown up here, it'd be different. I had more classmates that were anchor babies and shit.
To people in this body, does that not raise alarms? 2 Minneapolis residents were murdered by federal agents. A Latino resident was shot in the leg in North Minneapolis. A Latino resident was kidnapped in Minnesota by ICE and then died under custody in Texas. Our community members are being kidnapped on bus stops on the way to work. And those who came to live the American dream are now facing the American nightmare. This is only $1 million. It is not even enough to meet the needs of our actual neighbors who are struggling in Minneapolis.
Are you?
I am so freaking proud of Minneapolis residents. They are definitely meeting the needs of our community members in their own ways. And our neighbors in Minneapolis understand the importance of what our neighbors are experiencing. But I will continue to say that the conversation that we had in Committee of the Whole and today is not matching what our residents are experiencing on the ground. I ask that folks talk to your neighbors and hear about the sentiments that they're experiencing, because when they watch this meeting, they're going to be so disappointed.
They're going to watch it, by the way.
I will support the underlying motion because this is an emergency. In fact, I hope that everybody in this body agrees that an occupation of a city is an emergency.
Only weird was us watch
and
shit like
if that
this.
doesn't pass, then I will support the motion.
It only had
for
40-something people
because
in here.
we can't exacerbate the affordable housing
49
crisis
was
at
the
the same
top
time
I
either.
saw it at. And I was
you.
watching 2 hours.
Councilmember Chowdhury.
Thank you so much, President Payne. I just wanted to do a couple of things in my comments. I had questions, but I also wanted to state a few different facts. First, 50% of the awards of the Rent Help Hennepin go to the city of Minneapolis already. So that just goes to state the existing need for our city when it comes to emergency rental assistance and how it's compounding right now. And then $1 million is 0.05% of our city's total budget.
Yeah, so you're going
I'm
to
really
break it
glad
down.
to hear that
We're gonna make
Hennepin
sure
County is
everybody
willing to
knows
work
that it's only
with
half
our
a
city
percent,
to
not
make this
1%.
work however they want
We should
and
really
dedicate
make
it
this
to the
work.
city of Minneapolis if
Right.
that's what
You
we
were
are choosing to
fuckable
do,
until I
which I
found
am
out you were a
supportive of.
Democrat.
And if we dedicated it entirely to the
titty
city of
was
Minneapolis, that
getting
would
me.
increase the available rent help money for Minneapolis by 20%.
Dang it.
I had a few questions for Director Hansen, if that's all right. I specifically wanted to get a picture from you about the fiscal cliff of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. You and I have had several conversations about this last budget season, and I've been thinking a lot about it as we see the LAHA allocation before us. I know it says LAHA, but LAHA is severely overprescribed by the city of Minneapolis. That was a huge part of the discussion we had. We faced a crisis around shelter operations and agreed as a body together that in our city budget process we would move it there, but it was also a conversation with a lot of caution that this would, if we continued to take from LAHA, it would impact the Affordable Housing Trust Fund directly, or perhaps even the Minneapolis Homes program, which allows for the creation of affordable home ownership opportunities in our community.
Okay,
so I just wanted to
actually
get the
be,
picture from you about the Affordable Housing Trust Fund financial cliff.
0.025%.
Council President Payne, Council Member Chowdhury, yes. So the way we have set up our Affordable Housing Trust Fund, it connotes a thing of there's this funding in it, but the city funds it every year through its annual budget. And it's what is the thing that provides funding for affordable housing, housing units all through the city of Minneapolis. That had been funded by some discretionary funds that were targeted towards this type of use, mainly through tax increment financing districts that are coming off of TIF and going back to the tax rolls, which is a positive thing for the overall tax base, but it takes away from that source. And so every time we take money away from the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, it gets us...
What does a black lady say?
About just...
I don't need to hear what he has to say. He's a
Thank you, Chair.
Latino.
Just a few things.
Councilmember Warren, I'm sorry that you're being compared to MAGA because you have an opinion about Hennepin County, its funding, its programs, its procedures. Last year or maybe the year before, a council member sitting on this body accused the city of Minneapolis of waste, fraud, and abuse.
Wait, this guy's a MAGA?
I think it's a better option than our cash fund, but if we have to vote for a cash fund today, that's what I'll ultimately end up doing.
Councilmember Whiting.
Did I skip some of her?
Thank you, President Payne.
It was boring.
First of all, I think we want to center this on our discussions that we've been having for weeks. And this is something that I think all of us are seeing as an emergency. I think all 13 of us sit here and with the mayor agree that this version of assistance is required and is an emergency in this moment.
Oh, no, he wants
if this
it to.
is an emergency, I think
like
it is
what was I tripping on
all of us to figure out a way to actually move this forward. I believe that this emergency does fit within the definition of contingency funds, but I also believe that if this does not go forward, we have to figure out the best way to actually get these funds into people's hands as soon as we can. That being the case, I believe LAHA funding, our Affordable Housing Trust Fund, is the best version for that. As all of you sat through, I know all of us sat through a meeting discussing our financial picture. We just had our deputy director discuss with us and tell us in a lot of flowery words that we're broke. I think we all know and have heard that this is kind of where our city is at. I think continuing to hold general funds will exacerbate the issues that our city not will just have for the city of Minneapolis, not this body, but every single one of our residents and the same exact residents that we hope to serve with what we're doing today. That said, I just want to read the first eligible use for LAHA funding, local affordable housing aid, as prescribed by the state. The first qualifying projects include emergency rental assistance for households earning less than 80% of area median income. If we are looking at the definition of how funds should be used, LAHA funding is particularly subscribing and eligible use for emergency rental assistance. I believe there's a better definition for that across our city. And again, I want to add here in this, we are seeing good work across the city, not just by residents that are doing what our employees as well as the city. We are seeing by the large overrun, both by ND, fire, and
why don't we talk this fast? Because we waste so much time not doing that.
None of us want to move forward and leave any of these funds like ideal. We are in an emergency situation we have to figure out how to consider our LAHA funding as well.
Thank you. Councilmember Warren, I'm sorry that you're being compared to MAGA because you have an opinion about Hennepin County, its funding, its programs, its procedures. Last year, maybe before, a council member sitting on this body accused the city of Minneapolis of waste, fraud, and abuse, and that in no way was compared to MAGA. So I don't think just because you use those words, that means that you're
Why are we so lazy?
You have an opinion. You stated it. You talked about not only using the services yourself, but also helping others in our communities to use the service. I relied heavily on you because I know you have experience. So you spent hours talking to me about how these programs work, from a place of knowing yourself and also helping families use these programs and gain access. So
how much more you can get done in the day if you had to talk, especially if you're a government worker. Government workers should all talk at 4 times speed.
Because you don't deserve that. It's unnecessary. It really, you should have your opinion. I know this meeting too, and I'm trained already. This meeting, I have an opinion and have expertise in subject matter content for something. So sorry, I'm going. Talking about never being on the waiting list. There's something in the audience that texts me and says they're on the waiting list. So I don't know where this,
The lines would be so long.
They give the $1 million because I'm on the waiting list, and I don't know what I'm on the why I'm on the waiting list. So if you all give the $1 million, you can. I can maybe get off the waiting list or find out if I'm eligible or not.
Oh yeah, no. This lady says some really stupid shit though. I'm sorry.
We're told if at work support the lead forward, and we have as well.
Compare down like city MAGA. You ugly about this effective MAGA. What you don't comes up about it. I don't deserve. No, this is to this. I keep on the way. I don't me since we had the conversation on Tuesday, but I know that many people have reached out to me since we have had the waiting list because I'm $1 million eligible about the waiting list and how they're on it since we had the conversation on Tuesday. So I have reached out. I don't know. I can maybe get off the. If you all give the $1 million, you can. I'm on the waiting list. So if you all give the $1 million, and I don't know what I'm on people who call me directly, the people that they're on the waiting list and they don't even know. I mean, I heard from people who called me directly and said, give the $1 million because I'm on the waiting list and I don't know what I'm on the why I'm on the waiting list. So if you all give the $1 million, you can, I can maybe get off the waiting list or find out if I'm eligible or not. So I don't know if there's a waiting list or not. I wasn't able to find out, but I know that many people have reached out to me since we had the conversation on Tuesday about the waiting list and how they're on it and if they're going to be eligible for it. And I do agree that everyone should be eligible for it. My question, though, is for Director Hansen. We keep having these conversations since we have had the waiting list because I'm $1 million eligible about the waiting list and how they're on it since we had the conversation on Tuesday. So I have I don't know. I can maybe get off the way. If you all give the $1 million, you can, you know, I'm on the waiting list. So if you all give the $1 million, and I don't know what I'm on people who call me directly, people that they're on the waiting list and they don't even know. I mean, I heard from people who call me directly and say, give the $1 million because I'm on the waiting list and I don't know what I'm on.
Oh my God, I was started. Thank you for being a part of that.
Before I go to my question, so I don't lose my thought, there was a comment about the city's budget being $2 billion. It is $2 billion, but it's not $2 billion in the bank waiting. A lot of money has already been allocated to basic city services and what people are looking forward to us doing as a tax-paying resident or a resident of Minneapolis. So we don't just have $2 billion that we can call on. We did a budget that spent up a lot of money. The mayor's proposed budget, along with all the things that we wanted for our ward, cost money. They're not free. They don't get to just sit there. So we don't have $2 billion. This $1 million, it is a little bit in the bigger scheme of things, but it's not something that we've foreseen in any other budget. So we have to make a way to figure it out. But I'm trying to figure out how this is going to work. There's conversations around the county. Director Hanson, this is for you. I'm sorry. Gotcha. I may have called you up too soon. But the county has $10 million in their housing budget, is my understanding. We're going to give them $1 million. So now they'll have $11 million. I'm trying to understand, will we get our $1 million back if they don't use our $1 million? Why
do they have $10 million set aside for people that are going to get evicted?
How much do they use a year, and will we get our money back? I guess it's two questions.
All cities have this?
In 20 seconds. Council President, Council Member, we will add it to the $10 million, and last year they told us they spent about $11 million in their program. Okay. And it would be an agreement that we would bring back to you with all of the details on how the money would be used.
Thank you.
I've never heard of a program like that.
All right. Councilmember Stevenson.
Thank you, Council President. A few things. One, there's been a lot of discussion about the bond rating. Last year, when we were in much less crisis, MPD overspent its budget by $20 million. How did that affect our bond rating?
Deputy CFO.
Here we go. She knows so
through
much.
The chair, Councilmember Stevenson. We meet with the CFO, along with our banking, investment, and debt team, meet with the bond rating agencies annually, I believe. They have an annual report, and that comes out, I believe, in the summer. You can take a look at it. They're on the city's website. So we have not yet had those processes again since that time.
Okay, thank you. What has changed in that department and in other departments in order to spend according to their budget?
Through the chair, Councilmember, it's a good question. I think there are ongoing conversations about what it would mean. The Councilmember is referring to our police and fire departments overspent their budgets in 2025. You all will get a presentation from the controller upon year-end, accounting year-end of 2025 with the specific figures. Departments, including the police department, brought forward budget reduction scenarios through the budget process. Last year, one of the key things that the police department has changed is backing off of the critical staffing overtime, which was an elevated overtime rate that they had been in while they were understaffed. That is no longer the case, so they have a standard overtime rate going forward, and we anticipate savings from that. I believe the chief has also issued stricter policies around overtime usage.
Great, thank
It's
you.
a trip. They got them
I'll have
used
more
to that.
questions,
Better
but they'll
pay
probably be
the
rhetorical,
new people.
so feel free to sit down.
Until there was enough new people,
Given
and
the
then they
financial
stopped
state
it.
of the city, we should have a lot of questions about what's being done to limit department spending. I've heard from folks, both in the administration and on this council, that a large amount of money now is being used for graffiti removal, and that's having Public Works go over. Is that really where our money needs to go right now? I think rental assistance is vast.
Bro, you hearing this shit? He's saying that we should stop removing this graffiti and give the money to the illegals so that they don't have to leave their houses. What?
More important. I think our constituents need it. My constituents have been crystal clear that they have been demanding this of me, and they've been demanding this of all of us. So we're going to have to see some things go, and I think rental assistance is not one of those. We need this rental assistance, and we need to do it in a way that's not stealing from Peter in order to pay Paul. Lastly, LAHA is already allocated.
What is it though? Because it's the homeowners
we would be doling out lethal cuts to vital projects and services that I simply don't want to do. Yesterday, I met with Catholic Charities, which runs homeless shelters, among other things. Homeless shelters are an eligible use of LAHA, and we are still in a homelessness crisis. Taking LAHA and affordable housing dollars is it's much worse than stealing from Peter to pay Paul. It's relegating future evictions, future homelessness, and crushing financial stress and debt on our residents under the current housing crisis. So we can and we should use contingency funds, because this is a thing that is unanticipated, and we desperately need it. And we also desperately need our affordable housing projects and other housing services to be fully funded. And with that, I'll give it back to the President.
Councilmember Palmisano.
Thank you, President Payne. The facts given to us by Deputy CFO DeSenza have been front of mind to me this past week. I do recognize that other than Councilmember Vita as a park commissioner, others here on this dais were not around when we had to redo the budget several times until Councilmember Osmond joined us late in the year during the COVID crisis and pandemic. We've all been exploring how to best show up with what we can possibly afford with city dollars.
She's the only one that seems like she's the most.
We all get deeply personal stories of need, immediate and dire need. These days, more than ever, for the crisis that we're in. At the same time, Minnesota Multi-Housing Association, and they've given me permission to source them, they report to me that rent collections are tracking with normal rent collections right now.
You hear that? This is what I was getting at earlier when I said, no, they're not, though. Because dude was like, people are getting evicted at a higher rate. Well, what she just said right now, no, they're not. That was a lie, what he just said. See, I watched this earlier. That's paid attention. You can tell, because I would have known that from earlier if I hadn't.
The macro view, and that's as of today. But we all know that this road is very long, and that philanthropy is filling known needs right now, but likely not into the future as long as it's going to need to go. So, of course, I see a huge need for emergency rental assistance in our community. This is an unprecedented time, and I support the intent of this resolution, but I do not agree with this funding source. Using contingency funds has a very high bar, and using them for this purpose would be short-sighted. I'm very concerned about our general and contingency fund balances right now. We did not anticipate the enterprise cost of responding to Operation Metro Surge. This would be for things like an immense amount of staff time in emergency operations that includes every department, police, public works, communications, and on. These increased costs were not forecast in our 2026 budget, and the strain on our general fund is going to be significant. But earlier, my colleague said, what are we really doing? And I think that is a slap in the face to every single city worker who has been showing up in this moment.
This isn't business as usual. City workers are not going about our days as though nothing is wrong.
Like a Democrat.
Every department of our city is showing up differently. There is a CPED representative in the EOC overnight on weekends. That is in addition to their regular day-to-day job. So this is not meant... No. This money, it is not meant to be a public philanthropy fund. Yes, the agate idea was successful. I think it was a couple of years ago. It was unprecedented at the time, and it was an unsuccessful ultimate attempt at using it for philanthropy. Agate did not, to my recollection, get the rest of that money together. But thank you to every worker in the city enterprise for working so very hard this past month in responding to this unprecedented crisis. And also, they are getting to everything that we also need every day to have a city that works. People all over our city have been part of that. Residents, people that care about our city from overseas even. I know that other cities' department heads and bureaucrats are seeing how great Minneapolis is doing in this moment, and they are asking for advice on how they responsibly respond to ICE agents in their cities. Our role here is about coordination in this moment, not about being able to fill the need with local government funds, because we will never be able to fulfill that need. $1 million is a significant and monumentally difficult amount of money to find in this moment. And it should come from decisions we made last year on how much we can possibly put in our budget toward affordable housing. Last budget season, we made a decision not knowing the urgency of this moment. So let's make a different one. I am also, like Councilmember Stevenson said, loath to make this change. Long term, it's not a good one. Long term, it means we will get help to finance less 20 to 30-year affordable new housing units, for example. But in this moment, we need to find something, and we cannot stop responding as a city and delve into a terrible financial position. So I think we need to ground ourselves and one another on what our briefings have said, that government dollars is not what people need for rental assistance right now, that people struggling right now need cash, and let them decide what they are going to use for their different needs of the moment. And that equitable assistance has to be equitably distributed, and that is a really hard thing to do. And like Director Hansen said, not today, but on Tuesday, it will take a while.
Oh, no.
The road here is very long, much longer than people are energized to donate in one moment and perhaps able or willing to donate. So let's figure this problem out in a much longer term basis. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Councilmember Schaefer.
Yes, I would just add this as for our thought process. I think there's general support across our body for this idea. We're getting hung up on how and what we should use to fund this idea. I believe that Hennepin County has some wiggle room still with the funding that they have. One option on the table would be for us to revisit this in a couple weeks, in a month, once Hennepin County has drawn down their funds, and reassess what is our budget at that point. Are we $10 million over budget at that point? I'm just saying, is that a more measured approach for us all to say, we know this is a problem, we know it's immediate, we know the GoFundMes have stepped up above and beyond. We all have contributed, right? And there is a role for the city to contribute.
What the fuck is she contributing to?
But is now the right timing, if we have disagreement, to make a decision that could impact our budget process this whole year? That's my question. Maybe some other people have some comments and have an ability to make a motion to head us in that direction better than I can as a newbie.
Oh my God, hold on, time out. Joe right now in Portland. Go all the way across the fucking half the country or something for this. I paid over $2,000. Why doesn't it even still have the thing on the fucking screen to get them more money for it? Why did you should have stayed where it was cold? he had to suffer. Wanted to see him suffer.
So maybe can I make a motion to postpone all of these resolutions until Chavez, help me. What do we want to postpone this till?
Today. Let's vote today for the actual money. Let's
Okay.
help people get rental assistance because they need it.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess I will postpone to revisit on let's say end of March and see where Hennepin County funds sit. I'm able and willing to change that date if that helps people come this direction. But I would make a motion to postpone all of these resolutions and revisit all of them with all the funding sources the end of March. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Schaefer made a motion to postpone to the end of March. I think we need a date certain. I would say the 19th would be the next, the kind of endish March council meeting. That's been seconded. We have Councilmember Schaefer in queue, but maybe you've said your piece. Councilmember Chavez.
Thank you, Council President Payne. I will urge my colleagues to vote against the delay of these motions. We are in an emergency. People are facing evictions. Rent was due on February 1st. We cannot continue to ask our community to fundraise for our neighbors if we are unwilling as a government willing to support them. I think it's time to vote. It's very clear that people have made decisions on how they're going to vote.
I think we just need to vote.
So I'm going to call the question on Councilmember Schaefer's motion to delay these items, which I disagree with.
Unfortunate.
But I'm calling the question.
Councilmember Chavez called the question. Is there a second?
Second.
That's been seconded. Mr. Clerk, call the roll on calling the question.
Councilmember Warren.
Nay.
Councilmember Schaefer.
Nay.
Councilmember Wansley. Aye. Councilmember Shuckheim. Aye. Councilmember Whiting. Aye. Councilmember Chowdhury. Aye. Councilmember Stevenson. Aye. Councilmember Ringo. Councilmember Vita. No. Councilmember Monson. No. Councilmember Chavez. Aye. President Payne. Aye. There are 8 ayes, 5 nays.
And that 9, so that motion fails. And is there anybody who wants to discuss the motion to delay this item till the 19th? The clerk will call the roll.
Why are people
laughing? This to the 19th.
Councilmember
Vita.
Oh, thank you. I feel like every time I'm in the queue, somebody calls the question. It feels targeted. But my question was about what impact this would make for delay. I had never thought about that. So thank you, Councilmember Schaefer. What would be the impact on delay? Director Hansen, you said that the county uses $10 million a year of their own. And so if we gave them $1 million in 3 weeks or plus whatever time it takes to process, how could this affect that, the ability for rental assistance right now?
Director Hansen.
Council President Payne, Councilmember Vita, we would still have to negotiate a deal and an agreement and bring it back to the council before the money would be ready for their fund. So this would delay that conversation as well.
So just the agreement conversation, not like I guess I'm asking more about the services of the county. Regardless of how this goes, they're still going to be processing applications.
Councilmember Payne, Councilmember Vita, yes, the county continues to take in applications.
And at any point in this process, our $1 million could come in and help, but it's not about like the timing isn't specific to right now.
Council President Payne, Councilmember Vita, it's up to the body to tell us that they have the money, and then we would negotiate that with the county, and then those funds would then be able to be transferred to the county after an agreement has been reached and approved by the council and the mayor. So that would still, but their program is still intact. Their program is still taking applications as of today. I don't want anybody in the community who's listening to say that they have to wait until the council acts, because there is still money at the county for rental assistance.
Okay, you answer my question. Thank you.
Councilmember Palmisano.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
That was a thing, man.
One additional complication would be about if people will then still be eligible for their renter's credit. It shouldn't matter who is paying the rent, whether it's the county or the person with the lease. They should be able to get their renter's credit. There's concern about how that will work at the state level, and so we're going to need to be mindful of that. I think this is, I point this out because it's kind of like a brand new wrinkle just in my queue, but maybe something that shows that we should support a delay to iron out all these details. I do not want people to have to forego their renter's credit in order to be able to get assistance in this moment. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to get all this and everything, lady.
Seeing no further
thank you.
Folks in queue, I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion to postpone this item to March 19th.
Councilmember Warren.
Yes.
Councilmember Schaefer.
Aye.
Councilmember Wansley.
Nay.
Councilmember Shugtai.
Nay.
Councilmember Whiting.
Aye.
Councilmember Chowdhury.
Aye.
What?
No, nay, sorry. I am like, can't
You don't
keep,
get to
keep
tell
it
people
straight.
how to vote. Councilmember Stevenson.
Nay.
Councilmember Rainville.
I thought it was a different item.
Councilmember
Sorry.
Vitaw.
No one's
Aye. Councilmember Palmisano.
Aye.
Councilmember Chavez.
No.
Vice President Osmond.
No.
President Payne.
Nay.
There are 6 ayes and 7 nays.
That motion fails. We are returning to the underlying motion. I don't see anybody. Oh, Councilmember Chavez. No? All right. I'm going to add myself to queue. A lot of discussion here is on source and timing. On timing, there is nothing more urgent than what's happening in our community right now. We got a really robust briefing on the needs of our community from our professional staff in emergency operations. Part of that briefing was an acknowledgement that the fastest money is private money, and I agree with that. But the other half of that briefing was that recovery is not going to happen in 1 month. Recovery is not going to happen in 1 year. This is going to impact our city for years to come. It's going to impact the residents of our city for years to come. There are certainly people on the brink of eviction right now today, and many community members are stepping up to fill those gaps to save those people from the brink, but they're not saving everybody from the brink. And there are businesses that are currently closed indefinitely, which means they may open, they may be done forever. They may continue paying payroll. I've talked to some of the businesses in my community that are not cutting hours. They're not cutting payroll because they want to support their employees, but those businesses may not have the reserves to continue doing that for another 6 months, another year. And we're not also just talking about the members of our community that are most vulnerable and targeted as immigrants. We're talking about citizens that have just been struggling long before this crisis, and now this is yet another thing that is putting them deeper into crisis. And so there's no question about the need. There's no question about the timing. The source, I highly encourage this body to support contingency, because I think it's going to be private dollars that are already getting out the door right now, because rent has already been due and the private dollars are already doing as much as they can. But we're going to need it next month, and we're going to need it the month after that, and we're going to need it the month after that. And delaying this conversation about how we're going to work with the county does not help us. Waiting until we find out the county runs out of money doesn't help us, because we know they're going to run out of money. $1 million is not enough. We're going to need not just relief for this from the state for rental assistance. We're going to need relief for a whole host of economic impacts. The other part of that briefing was the recognition that this is at the scale of COVID or worse. And that required the federal government to step in with $300 million of stimulus just for the city of Minneapolis. I don't have a lot of faith in our federal government in this moment to step in with that kind of stimulus to support, to backfill these dollars, but we are in crisis. This is not about the whole country our bond rating for the next year. This is about the future of our democracy. This is the future of our country. Our bond rating will be irrelevant if we are in an outright civil war. It has felt like we are on the brink of civil war as I'm out on the streets physically getting assaulted by my federal government. There's no more urgent crisis than what we're going through right now.
I don't think he is physically assaulted.
And the other piece to this is the discussion of the backlog at the county. I think Councilmember Chugtai spoke to this, but Director Hansen, can you confirm if they have a backlog? Because I heard also comments about the waiting list, and one of the reasons we actually extended our pre-eviction notice from 14 days to 30 days is because it still took about that much time to get money out the door, even if there wasn't a backlog. So can you help us understand that distinction?
Council President Payne, under request from Councilmember Chugtai, I have communicated with David Hewitt, who oversees this program at the county, and I will read. No waiting list. Eligible applications are processed within 14 days, quicker when needed to prevent loss of housing. So there is no waiting list.
Thank you for that. So there is an urgent need right now. People needed to pay rent yesterday. There's going to be a need next month and the month after that. And the housing crisis is going to be with us for decades. So we cannot raid our Affordable Housing Trust Fund and exacerbate the housing crisis. We can't just rely on private donors because the need is going to go long before that period of time. The city needs to step up right now in this moment. I would prefer us to use contingency because that's what contingency is for. Another issue, use of contingency that wasn't discussed, was there was an emergency because a convention that we were hosting ran out of money for the planner. That was raised to a level of urgency that got unanimous support from this body because of a convention was running out of money to pay their vendors. This is more of an emergency than that. We should be using contingency. I don't want to use cash balance because of the concerns about our bond rating, but that will have to be our next best choice. So I would prefer us to use contingency. Otherwise, we're getting into cash balance, and we'll have to deal with the aftermath of that. And seeing no one else in queue, I will ask the clerk to call the roll on item number 67.
And Mr. President, to be clear, this is on the original proposal that came forward with the agenda packet offered by Council Members Wansley, Austin, Stevenson, Chavez, and Chowdhury.
Correct.
What is
Councilmember Warren.
No.
Councilmember Schaefer.
No.
Councilmember Wansley.
Aye.
Councilmember Chugtai.
Aye.
Councilmember Whiting.
Aye.
Councilmember Chowdhury.
Aye.
Councilmember Stevenson.
Aye.
Councilmember Rainville.
No.
Councilmember Vito.
No.
Councilmember Palmisano.
No.
Councilmember Chavez.
Aye.
Vice President Osmond.
Aye.
President Payne.
Aye.
There are 8 ayes and 5 nays.
That motion required 10 votes, so therefore that fails. I will recognize Councilmember Wansley for a response.
The next motion is
Councilmember Whiting.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. President. I would move to approve the following resolution in front of all of you. Happy to talk to any of the questions about this, but happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Councilmember Wansley.
Thank you, President Payne. I would also like to bring a substitute motion that will still keep basically the original content of the contingency motion that just failed, but would essentially change the funding source to cash balance. The intent is still there. This is not the source that we ideally wanted to go for. We brought forward the one that was most appropriate. Unfortunately, supermajority of my colleagues did not agree with it. So this is the next best resort that we have to make sure that we aren't cutting programs and department level activities. So that said, I'm moving this forward, and also would like to note that Councilmember Chugtai is a co-author of this.
Mr. Clerk, we have two substitutes. Can you give some guidance on how we ought to approach this?
Mr. President, I know we've been talking about 3 resolutions and 3 different subjects, but parliamentary law says 1 motion can claim the body's time, 1 at a time. So Mr. Whiting was in, Councilmember Whiting was in order and made a motion. That's the motion that is before the body. Then the body could take up the substitute that was offered by Councilmember Wansley and several co-authors. I will note that Councilmember Whiting made a motion. It wasn't seconded, and we recognized a new member who offered a different motion. So I think Whiting is in queue. There needs to be a second. If there's not a second, then that would die for lack of a second.
Second.
Okay, we have a proper motion in front of us by Councilmember Whiting, sourcing $1 million from the Affordable Housing Trust Fund for rental assistance. Is there discussion on that item? Councilmember Osmond. Vice President Osmond.
Thank you. I think the best option still would have been the contingent funding. I didn't hear any argument why we shouldn't do that other than, oh, it's not going to work for immigrants or the county does different things. There's not a strong argument why we should not take the money. That's what the money is for. And let me just say that, Councilmember Whiting, I really appreciate your motion. It's trying to find a solution after it requires 10 votes, I guess, the last motion, and that's why it's failed. Really like your bringing this forward, but I never, since I've been a chair of Biz Committee, which everything comes through related to housing, Affordable Housing Trust was never go zone place. Like that was like, stay away from it. This is something that we always, protected. And former council member Allison was also really the guard of that funding, and including the administration and the mayor's office was always something no-go zone area. So I would like to support it, but as the chair of this committee, I cannot support it now. But I wish it would the cash balance would have come first, and if it would have failed, that would have been my third option to go, because we got to do everything we can to support the immigrants. At least we're trying to do very limited. We might not help everyone else. People will be displaced. People have been displaced. So just people that elected and people that manages their money, this is president's money. We're making that decision, and as a council body, our only power and our power actually is about a budget. And that's how we're elected to oversight and make sure that we are making the right decisions. But I'm going to wait around and with your motion and not support it now. I wish it would have come later on after the cash balance, but I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Councilmember Stevenson, you have a priority motion?
I'd like to call the question.
Councilmember Stevenson has called the question. Is there a second?
No, it's not a priority motion. Not a priority motion.
Oh.
Mr. President, calling the question is a standard motion. It's not a priority motion. A priority motion is like a point of order, an objection to the question, or a point of privilege. Priority motion would have to be in that vein. Call the question or the previous question is a standard motion that you get in order in the queue for.
Councilmember Chugtai.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I really appreciate Councilmember Whiting bringing this path as an option forward here today. I think you are the person I've talked to probably the most about this topic over the course of the last couple of days, and I saw a continuous desire from you to find a place of agreement, and I saw how deeply moved you were throughout those conversations by the tremendous need that we are seeing in our community, and that I deeply appreciate that. I see that need too, and agree that we need to take some action now. So, Councilmember Ellison did used to be the bulldog of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, and that's something that needs needs its next set of bulldogs. So let me attempt to do that just a little bit. The Affordable Housing Trust Fund was created in 2003 by Mayor R.T. Rybak. Its purpose was to have the general fund property taxes support the development of affordable housing units in our city, so that every taxpayer had a stake in people being able to continue to live in Minneapolis and afford to live here.
A stake in it? What does that mean?
And over the years, right, we see the investment in the Affordable Housing Trust Fund chip away. We see the way it is supported and paid for become less and less reliable, I suppose. Today, none of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund is general fund supported. Today, we are investing less money in the Affordable Housing Trust Fund than we were prior to the pandemic. And it is that has real life impacts, right? If we know that recovery from this current crisis we are in is going to take years and years, it is important that we remain in the business of helping subsidize the development of affordable housing units to continue to come online 3, 5, 10 years from now, so that the people who are directly impacted right now can have a shot at calling Minneapolis home. We cannot pit two housing
migrants are the main people moving there, though.
Critical needs against each other. And I will say this as a person who has voted in the past, just did last December, to take money out of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, but at that time I made a commitment that this is not going to be a fund we are going to use as the thing that bails us out every time something goes wrong. And I want to honor that commitment, because this work is really important. We need to continue to do it. And it's the city's explicit position, our mayor's explicit position, that the best way to address homelessness is through building more affordable housing units, to build more housing in general. Why are we undermining that and pitting people who are facing evictions against people who can afford to live in Minneapolis in 3, 5, and 10 years? That's the reason I can't support this as a source. And I will not be supporting this motion today, but again, I want to thank the author for bringing this option forward and trying to get us to achieve some consensus.
Councilmember Chowdhury.
Thank you, President Payne. Yeah, I want to thank Councilmember Whiting for bringing this forward. I have appreciated our conversations about it. You and I completely disagree on it, but your disagreement with me has been kind, and our conversations have been direct, and I have appreciated working with you in that. And I think that shows that when we're sitting here and we're having tough debates, which will befall us many more times, especially around budgeting this next year, that we can do that. I just want to state really clearly that $1 million equals a set of units that will be affordable for 30 years. That's always guaranteed when we have funding in the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, because people regularly apply for the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, and there are oftentimes applicants, I think every single time, there are applicants that do not get awards, right? It is sought after funding, and we are no longer in the build more era that we were in the city of Minneapolis, that has kept our rent down, that has increased our tax base, and this is one of the few tools we have left to ensure that building continues, and more importantly, affordable building projects throughout our communities, because we know that there are not enough units for the number of people that have need for housing. And so I simply cannot vote for this, because it is death by 1,000 paper cuts. We can't cannibalize the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. It is overprescribed by the state. We need different resources from the state when it comes to rental assistance and homelessness. That's been really clear, and that's something that we will voice in our legislative agenda this year. And we need our community and our partners and philanthropy who's helping cover a lot of these costs to ensure that government shows up to meet these needs. And we're just going to need a system-wide shift on how we do housing. We can't just keep on going through crisis after crisis, and our housing system isn't resilient to it because that costs lives. So I'm unable to support this. I commend the effort to bring this forward, though.
Councilmember Stevenson.
Yeah, thank you for bringing this forward. I would also prefer to vote on cash. I agree with Council Vice President. First, I also think $1 million directly from the Affordable Housing Trust Fund is just too steep, and we should rather take smaller amounts from different departments. But if I'm still able, I'd like to call the question.
Councilmember Stevenson has called the question. Is there a second?
Second.
The clerk will call the roll.
On the motion to call the question, Councilmember Warren.
No.
Councilmember Schaefer.
No.
Councilmember Wansley is absent. Councilmember Shugtai.
Aye.
Councilmember Whiting.
No.
Councilmember Chowdhury.
Aye.
Councilmember Stevenson.
Aye.
Councilmember Rainville.
No.
Councilmember Vitoff.
Aye.
Yeah. Councilmember Palmisano.
No.
Councilmember Chavez.
Aye.
Vice President Osman is absent. Councilmember Wansley.
Aye.
Vice President Payne.
Nay.
There are 6 ayes and 6 nays.
That fails. Councilmember Whiting.
How do you change? Wow. Maybe your advice.
Thank you, President Payne. And I would like to note to my colleagues, I do appreciate the conversations that we've had for the past weeks on this motion. I think all of us again agree that this is an emergent need. This is an immediate need, and I appreciate the conversations as such. As my council member colleagues, both to the side of me, right? We've had long discussions on these. I don't think any of us want to put forward a motion that takes any dollar out of any of our funds here in the city of Minneapolis, because we know that takes from individuals that need it regardless of where these funds are pulled from. Again, I think, to reiterate,
so much.
I fully believe that this is the best middle portion and movement that we can actually move this forward on. My worry is that I'm not sure the political realities of this of the general fund piece, but I do expect that this may come back to us in a couple weeks, and if that is the case, that fully delays this immediate need to help individuals that need now. Like all of you up here, I am getting the same conversations of individuals in my ward across the city that need this help now and today. I think any delay, any increase in delay continues to put people out of their homes, and that is what the Affordable Housing Trust Fund is there to do, is to keep people in their homes. That is the direct purpose of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, and I think we all know that it's so much more expensive to keep people housed if they are out of their homes. 2 weeks, I think, is too long of a time to then delay this motion, or this, if it comes back to us, to delay it any further. And if we were able to get this through, I think I have high confidence that it wouldn't come back to us. And so, again, kind of urge you all to consider this, again, not necessarily for the merits on the page of the funding source, but of the political realities that we do sit in and engage in. Thank you.
Councilmember Warren.
Political realities.
Thank you, Council President. My question is for Councilmember Whiting. And if I'm reading this correctly, it says that the $1 million one-time rental assistance provided funds to Hennepin County are unspent within a month and a day at the end of Operation Metro Surge. All remaining funds will be returned back to CPED. It'll go back, so they'll get the money back. We're just sitting it somewhere else for a minute, and then, or however, and if it's used, it's used. It kind of, if you need it, you need it. If you don't, you don't. Is that what we're doing here?
Correct.
Okay, because I don't want to take any money from no affordable housing. That's the part that I'm struggling with, okay? For affordable housing development, ensuring that individuals and families have what they need. I have been a recipient of Section 8. I've lived in my car. I've lived at Mary Jo's shelter. I know what homelessness looks like, feels like, and I've housed homeless in Hennepin County. So if we can...
You've got a homeless person in their house right now.
We're not taking away from the stability.
He does the dishes
and we're lending
and
to
sucks
borrow.
a clitoris.
I mean, the whole thing is to get these funds and all of the red tape and paperwork. I really just want my colleagues to understand I am not anti-supporting anyone. That is what I do, is the biggest advocacy ever for anyone and families. That's what I do. I am a mother of 6 children and 6 grandchildren. I am
all
the champion
daddies.
of help someone to help somebody, okay? But the red tape that you go through just to ask for a crumb of some bread here in, I mean, seriously, it is a lot. And the eligibility is slim pickings that make you eligible to even receive it. If you've never been in that food stamp line or had to stand at window 5 in Century Plaza, you don't get it. And I challenge you to really put on your thinking caps. I will support this, Jameson, for this.
She wears being
one time.
poverty
I want us
like
to
a,
vote
like it's
and be
a
done
badge
with
of honor.
this, because I got to pee. There's the red button to say stop. Jeez.
Councilmember Chowdhury.
I gotta pee.
Yeah, thank you. I just, I feel like, one, we don't know when this surge is going to end. 2, how do you even determine if the surge has ended or not? It's not going to be through press conference. Like, we're going to have to actually see it. And I mean it, because Tom Homan's saying we're going to withdraw down 700. Where's the 700? How do we know? Right? How do we know that they're not adding more? So I'm also willing to say that, like, the need is so high, which we have seen through millions of dollars of mutual aid funding, that, like, we're probably not going to see the $1 million back or a significant amount back. So I don't want us to just put our hat on this. Like, the need is incredible. The last thing I'll say is, if this is to pass, or if it's vetoed, which I'm hearing an allusion to, and that veto is then sustained, I will 100% bring a general fund allocation in the budget cycle to refill the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. So we can either do that now, or we can do it later, because I will bring it back.
Councilmember Chavez.
Thank you, Council President Payne. I want to thank Councilor Whiting for bringing this forward. I cannot support it. I think this will be detrimental to our affordable housing stock across the city, especially when we are living in an emergency. If we didn't want to take from the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, we should have taken from the contingency fund. So the other option that many members before we took that vote said was we're going for this cash fund. We had optioned. And now we're going to do something different, right? So I also want to point out the way the resolution is written. While I appreciate that 10 could have an impact on who gets these services, it talks about that funds to Hennepin County that are unspent within 1 month and a day of the end of Operation Metro Surge, all remaining funds shall be returned to CPED. Even if Operation Metro Surge were to end, ICE is still going to be in our city and in our state, and they're still going to be kidnapping our neighbors. They have been doing so before Operation Metro Surge. There has been an issue impacting our neighbors way before this operation happened. Many of our families and loved ones are still going to be torn apart. So I feel like while I appreciate the intention of this resource, the way it has been written will also have an unintentional consequence of who can access the resources, so I can't support it.
It should last forever.
But I appreciate the thought of trying to bring people together.
Seeing no one else left in queue, I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the resolution brought forward by Councilmember Whiting to source from the Affordable Housing Trust Fund for rental assistance.
Councilmember Warren.
Aye.
Councilmember Schaefer.
Aye.
Councilmember Wansley.
Nay.
Councilmember Shucktie.
Nay.
Councilmember Whiting.
Aye.
Councilmember Chowdhury.
Nay.
Councilmember Stevenson.
Nay.
Councilmember Rainville.
Aye.
Councilmember Vitaw.
Aye.
Councilmember Palmisano.
Aye.
Councilmember Chavez.
No.
Vice President Osman.
No.
Why you gotta be different?
Nay.
There are 6 ayes and 7 nays.
That motion fails, and now I will recognize Councilmember Wansley.
Thank you, President Payne. I will move the motion forward using the cash balance as a funding source to go to Hennepin County in the amount of $1 million. And you have the technical amendments in front of you to the revised motion, and I will ask for a second.
Second.
Councilmember Wansley has moved the resolution. It's been properly seconded. I'll recognize Councilmember Chugtai.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. I just feel so incredibly disappointed that this is the last option, right? This is we're now pulling money out of our fund balance. Our financial position is in an incredibly tough place, and a part of that is a $20 million overspend by the Minneapolis Police Department in last year's budget, or over the course of 2025, which has significantly diminished our cushion. We have significant overtime resources that have been spent so far this year. We're just in February, and I really dislike that this is where we are pulling from. This was, I very strongly believe and continue to, that the most appropriate source was contingency. That was not the will of the body, and I'm going to support this because of how large the need is and how few resources exist in the face of it. And that just matters the most right now. But this can't be how we keep moving forward. We're going to have a lot of tough choices to make.
Why don't they all just house an immigrant
this year? And then as we look towards
a family,
our budget for next year, and we don't have cushions. We don't have magic money hidden places anymore.
When was it? They had magic money in Minneapolis?
This is a reflection of how significant the need is, because I know that most of the authors here did not prefer this source in the first place. The preference was the most appropriate source given all of the conditions before us. But here we are. I hope sincerely that this can be a motion that this body can approve, so that we can do our small little part in keeping people in their homes and in the neighborhoods that they love, in their communities. Thank you.
Councilmember Chowdhury.
Thanks, President Payne. I just wanted to make a quick remark that members, we do have a procedural ability to reconsider our vote on the contingency motion, right? We can do that if the body so chooses. I mean, it would need the help of the clerks, but there would have to be a will, and if there is a change of heart, it's not over for us to reconsider contingency, which I do agree is the most appropriate place where this should come from.
Mr. Clerk, do you want to remind the body how reconsideration works?
Mr. President, the motion to reconsider requires someone who voted in the prevailing side to make that motion. Assuming it passes, then that matter returns before the body and can be taken up again for a second vote. So the first thing is to make sure that we have someone who voted in the majority or on the prevailing side of the original question. And I'll say that the original question I have was 8-5. It failed because it was a vote which, to consider approving it, required 10. As the body knows, the use of contingency under city charter requires 10 votes. So it was 2 votes shy from passing the charter threshold. So any of the 8 council members who voted with the majority, could make a motion to bring, I'm sorry, anybody from the 5, because it failed and that's the prevailing side, would be able to bring forward a motion to reconsider that procedure, and then it would be back in front of us.
Councilmember Chowdhury. Okay. Councilmember Chaktai.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Clerk, can you, or through the chair, I'm hoping if the clerk can list off the 5 members that were on the prevailing side just one more time.
Through the president, those who voted nay, which is the prevailing side, were council members Warren, Schaefer, Rainville, Vita, and Palmisano.
Mr. Chair, I mean, I would urge one of these members who voted, who were on the prevailing side, to please make a motion to reconsider. I see that I'm not successful.
I guess I'll just add myself to queue just really quickly just to thank Councilmember Whiting for, you have been very clear about your spirit of problem solving, and you brought a very problem solving approach to this. However, although your motion didn't prevail, I really appreciated the effort that you put into that. And I will be supporting our motion that's in front of us right now. And seeing no one else left in queue, I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the Wansley motion.
For clarity, Mr. President, I'll point out this version has revised, highlighted in yellow at the top, and has Councilmember Shugtai also added as a co-author at the end. Councilmember Warren.
No.
Councilmember Schaefer.
No.
Councilmember Wansley.
Aye.
Councilmember Shugtai.
Aye.
Councilmember Whiting.
No.
Councilmember Chowdhury.
Aye.
Councilmember Stevenson.
Aye.
Councilmember Rainville.
Aye.
Councilmember Vita.
Aye.
Councilmember Palmisano.
No.
Councilmember Chavez.
Aye.
Vice President Osman.
Aye.
President Payne.
Aye.
There are 9 ayes and 4 nays.
That motion passes, and that completes all items on the entire SuperCal report. The next order of business is notice of ordinance introductions. We have 3 notices today, one of which was added to our agenda at the top of the meeting. First, council members Chavez, Chowdhury, Wansley, Payne, and Stevenson give notice of intent to introduce at the next regular meeting the subject matter of an ordinance to amend the Health and Sanitation Code to decriminalize the possession of drug paraphernalia. Second, Council Vice President Osman gives notice of intent to introduce at the next regular meeting the subject matter of an ordinance amending the Licenses and Business Regulations Code to amend the regulation of alcohol on licensed parking lot premises. And third, Councilmember Chuktai gives notice of intent to introduce at the next regular meeting of the City Council the subject matter of an ordinance amending Title 12, Chapter 244 of the Minneapolis Code of Ordinances related to Housing Maintenance Code, Section 244.285, to add regulations regarding owner entry into a rented dwelling unit. Those notices are hereby given, and no further action is required at this time. The next order of business is the introduction and referral calendar. We have 2 introductions today. First, pursuant to notice, council members Wansley, Osman, Chavez, and Stevenson move to introduce the subject matter of an ordinance to amend the Housing Code, give first reading, and refer to the Business, Housing, and Zoning Committee for its consideration a proposal to authorize eviction moratoria during states of emergency. Second, council members Wansley, Osman, Stevenson, Chavez, and Chowdhury move to introduce an ordinance amending the Housing Code, giving first reading, refer to the Committee of the Whole, and set a public hearing to be held at that committee's meeting on February 17th. A proposal to temporarily extend the length of required pre-eviction notices. I'll note that this introduction seeks to bypass the first step for enacting an ordinance, which is notice, so it will require unanimous consent to accomplish what is being proposed for this ordinance. May I have a motion to approve these introductions?
So moved. Second.
That's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? I'll recognize Councilmember Wansley.
Thank you, President Payne. Colleagues, I'm asking for your support on an ordinance called Pause Eviction Save Lives, which is a temporary policy change that will extend the timeline for evictions to protect renters from the impacts of the ICE occupation. Currently, if a landlord plans to file an eviction due to missed rent, they must give the renter 30 days notice prior to filing the eviction. Pause Eviction Save Lives would temporarily increase the required notice from 30 days to 60 days. This gives family an extra month to acquire the funds needed to cover any missed rent and avoid having an eviction be filed. The 60-day requirement would be in effect until July 31st. Rental assistance funding takes time, as we just had a very robust conversation around that. And additionally, new financial resources could be available to families once the state legislative session begins on February 17th. And Pause Eviction Save Lives give families more time to apply for and receive rental assistance funding, and thus preventing evictions and protecting families. My co-authors are asking for your support to expedite the consideration of the ordinance, and I'm going to outline why. The expedited timeline is the difference between families being protected on March 1st or not. This will literally make the difference for thousands of families entering into the eviction process versus thousands of families having to or having a protection in place when next month's rent is due. And I'm not being dramatic when I say this, but this could absolutely save lives, and that's a huge responsibility and opportunity that this council has. And I hope there would be not a member of this body who is okay with letting families come up on March 1st, rent being due, and not having a protection in place. And it's with that serious responsibility to protect residents in our hands that I ask for unanimous support from council on today's action to waive notice of intent to introduce, give a first reading of the ordinance, refer to the committee of the whole, and set a public hearing for the committee of the whole on February 17th. From there, we would hold a public hearing at the committee of the whole on February 17th, followed by a council vote on the ordinance on February 19th. And during the week of February 9th, we have asked the CAO or City Attorney's Office to be available for briefings on the ordinance to help ensure that you all have all the information that you need prior to council's final consideration and vote of the ordinance on February 19th. If there was ever a time or moment to expedite a process, this is it. And we have the opportunity to deliver protections for our community, and hope this is another opportunity in which we can work together to pause evictions and save lives. So with that, I will motion the item for approval.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded, and seeing no one else left in queue, I will ask the clerk to call the roll, reminding everyone that we do need unanimous consent. Mr. Clerk, did you want to give any guidance?
Not guidance, but I actually wanted to offer some compliments and maybe some explanations, both for returning council members and new council members and the public who watch. There are some subtle language differences that are clues to council members when we get to the introduction and referral calendar. If you'll notice on number 1, the eviction moratorium ordinance uses the phrase to introduce the subject matter of an ordinance. On number 2, it says to introduce an ordinance. That's the clerk's subtle way of telling you. On number 1, we don't have a draft ordinance. It has not been prepared. We're giving a reading to an ordinance that no one has seen. Councilmember Wansley and her associates on the second one have done their due diligence, and there is actually a full ordinance. It's in limbs. It's posted for public access, which is why the usual process should be number 2. There is an ordinance that you can see, that the public can see. We are actually giving it its first reading today. This is the first step in the legislative process where council could vote to kill an ordinance, right? This is the first formal vote on an ordinance, and in 95% of the cases, we don't have a draft ordinance. So this is the process whereby the council members have done their homework, they've prepared an ordinance, they've worked with the attorneys, they've brought it forward. It was on the LIMS file and available for all council members and the public to see before we take the vote today. So I wanted to say thank you for all that work, and to say that's the subtle difference if you're reading those items on the agenda. When it says subject matter, we don't have anything. When it says ordinance, we actually have the draft ordinance.
Thank you.
And I'm happy to call the roll, Mr.
Yep, thank you for that clarification, and I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Warren.
No.
Councilmember Schaefer.
No.
Councilmember Wansley.
Aye.
Councilmember Shugtai.
Aye.
Councilmember Whiting.
Aye.
Councilmember Chowdhury.
Aye.
Councilmember Stevenson.
Aye.
Councilmember Rainville.
No.
Councilmember Vita.
No.
Councilmember Palmisano.
No.
Councilmember Chavez.
Aye.
Vice President Osman.
Aye.
President Payne.
Aye.
There are 8 ayes and 5 nays.
That motion fails as
Mr.
it required
President.
unanimous consent.
Mr. President, the first item passes. It only needed a simple majority.
Thank
So
you.
item 1 on the introduction referral calendar will move forward as stated. On item number 2, it failed to get unanimous consent. So I'm assuming that Councilmember Wansley would give notice today and move forward.
Sky
And that doesn't require a vote because now it just became a notice of introduction.
That's right. Councilmember Wansley?
Yep, that's a Sorry. Yes, thank you, Clerk Carl. We had the opportunity to do something very simple and show unity to expedite a legislative process when the work has been already done, to give you an ordinance and to bring your constituents along for a public hearing that would have took place on February 17th. And we could have made sure that preventative protections against evictions could have been in place ahead of the March 1st deadline for rent. Supermajority of our colleagues did not want to move forward, but luckily we still have our legislative process to move forward with this. So I'm giving official notice that will still allow us to move forward and would then require a simple majority vote at the end of it to adopt it. And at least, and unfortunately at least, after March 1st, this would, if adopted by this body, would give thousands of families that additional 60 days temporarily to seek out rental assistance and stay housed. But it's really sad that we're almost going into the 3rd month of this operation, and the supermajority of this body could not get behind making sure that residents had a pre-eviction protection in place. That said, I look forward to gaining the support of a majority of my colleagues to put this in place in the coming weeks and months as we further consider it.
That notice is hereby given and no further action is required at this time. And Mr. Clerk, I have several folks in queue, but we actually don't have an item on the table anymore, do we?
Announcements?
Well, the next order of business is resolutions. We have one resolution today, and that is an honorary resolution to designate the month of February 2026 as Black History Month in the city of Minneapolis. We were able to participate in a breakfast event in our historic rotunda this morning. That was the city's official launch of this month-long celebration of Black History Month. I want to express the council's thanks
to
learn
about what great Black people that were in that
Black
month
Employee
that were
Network,
born
MBEN, and the planning committee who organized today's breakfast celebration.
10 a day.
Do council members have any comments to add? Council member Vita.
10 a day every day for the rest of our lives.
This morning we had a wonderful breakfast, and we had lots of folks attend. It was actually a super fun way to start the day in honor of Black History Month. I just wanted to acknowledge a woman who was there this morning, and somehow we missed her. Her name is Destiny Prosper. She's been a hero in North Minneapolis. She has actually fundraised $40,000 for Jenny Lynn School by herself. You may catch her on the news every now and then talking about the amazing work she's done in North Minneapolis. We have so many heroes like Destiny in our community, but I wanted to make sure that I acknowledged her because she's just taken this thing by storm with helping with food, rent assistance. She was actually one of the first persons that I met that was doing home delivery. So thank you, Destiny. Thank you to everyone, but in particular in this Black History Month, I wanted to make sure that we acknowledge the phenomenal work she's doing on behalf of families in North Minneapolis. And thanks to everyone else who attended this morning. Fun celebration, good way to start the day. And to get a good start on Black History Month. I enjoyed all the fun we had. The good breakfast. Thank you to Latunji for catering the breakfast this morning. That was a great addition to the event. It's always good when you gather Black people, you got to have food. So that was a good addition. Thank you so much to the clerk's office for making sure. And also to the building commission and security and everyone for making sure we were safe, and we had a good fun time this morning for our annual Black History Month breakfast.
Councilmember Warren.
Thank you, Council President. I I want to just say thank you to everyone. This was beautiful. All of the individuals that we recognized and all of the attendees in support of the work and the resilience of Black folks here in America, to have a moment during this time of uncertainty throughout the city to recognize the instrument of leadership, the instrument of creativity, the instrument of resilience that we have embodied for hundreds of years here in America. I'm ultimately grateful for the opportunity and that the city took time to uplift this time and this moment. The work is not done. The work continues, and I just want to honor and celebrate everyone that we recognize today, and all bodies that came and attended and supported and uplifted those moments. And yeah, that's it. That's what I got. So thank you for that opportunity. It was wonderful.
Having so many kids, man.
Thank you so much, President Payne. I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge the extreme hardship that our Black, Brown, Indigenous, immigrant businesses particularly are facing. They were already facing many issues and were in recovery prior to the ICE occupation and surge, but we're seeing from our local businesses that they are in some cases seeing an 80% decrease in the regular customer base that they have. So I'm just encouraging everyone to go to a Black, Brown, Indigenous, immigrant-owned business. Double your orders, tip extra if you can. If you can share that out on your social media and channels, that's something that I continue to hear as a need. Promotion is really helpful, and our city has been showing up as there's been different direct actions that fill our streets, and then we end up seeing community members go to our local businesses. So
community members just to give
encouraging
local
everyone that's
money.
watching to spread the word, and all of us to continue to lean in that way.
Don't even buy anything. Just
Councilmember
be a
Chavez.
philanthropist, because they were talking about it earlier. The private sector, they wanted to take up the slack.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to say that it is truly an honor as a new council member to sit amongst a body of council representatives from all across the diaspora. That truly feels empowering. It's beautiful, and I wanted to acknowledge that at this very same time. And don't ever disrespect me by equating me or making me comparing me to MAGA anyway, because I'm black. Okay, just so you understand. Foundationally to this, ain't nobody can send me to. I've been here. There never was a time when I was not, and I will always be here. The end.
Seeing no one else, thank you. I'll start the call roll.
Councilmember Warren. Aye. Councilmember Schaefer. Aye. Councilmember Wonsley is absent. Councilmember Sheffield.
Where?
Councilmember Whiting. Aye. Councilmember Chalkley. Aye. Councilmember Stevenson. Aye. Councilmember Rainbow. Aye. Councilmember Vito. Aye. Councilmember Bonsanto. Aye. Councilmember Chavez. Aye. Vice President Pausman is absent. President Payne. Aye. Mary Lynn ayes. That carries, and that resolution is adopted. And for myself and for the entire city council, I want to uplift our Black residents, neighbors, colleagues, and family members. So this month, each year commemorate Black History Month, but it is important that we recognize, honor, and celebrate the lives of Black people all year long.
This is really serious about being a Black.
Network and Omar from World Policy to heavy lift to put on today's event. And they have to both inside city enterprise as well as helping the community. So thank you for that. Next, we have a request for a closed session today with our city attorney, but before I recognize the attorney for that purpose, I will ask if there are any announcements from council members.
Thank you. Councilmember Chavez. Thank you, Council President Payne. I just want to confer with the clerks that officers of verification extension and are on the motion.
I'm sorry, Councilmember,
Since we know that the officers are going to we want to talk about the so that when it's to the council, then we show up to the hall, talk about this emergency verification ordinance. We are using the arguments when the allocated council is not being the legislators. The funding is there funding in the state of being not being I was hoping that you were taking this action to roll out the expedited route to prevent this I'm just telling you the day, but it doesn't stop. Now we're taking action, councilors to take action. I can't wait for this to happen. I'm just waiting for it to happen next day. But there is an option to testify. Councilors have to change. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to make an apology to my colleagues. I did not make meeting during the resolution. I had to say that for announcement, so I just apologize. I got to say during the resolution portion because that's supposed to be for Black History Month.
Councilmember, would you like your vote for the resolution?
Yes, that's affirmative.
Councilmember Chavez.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to take this opportunity to acknowledge that this morning at as early as 6 o'clock, just less than a day after Tom Coleman announced that there would be end to voting for controls.
This is odd and almost.
For turning these over for the abortion and this morning, so doesn't many people went up because these broke down. And buildings were, and 2 dozen agents went in and arrested.
That's why it seems like she talks so much. It's all the and ums. I never noticed it until I had it on 4 times.
Seeing no one else left in queue, with that we complete all items on our agenda. Organized the attorney for the requested closed session has no agenda. The is a statement so at all versus no at all. The lawyers provide briefing counsel of the station matter. According to the Minnesota statute, section 13.05, subsection 3b, the House may make a proper motion.
Don't do that.
Consider the right to know what the attorney is doing, and the state preserve confidentiality of the session with the Thank you, Mr. Attorney. I'm going to close the opening law. Section 13.5 of the proceeding litigation matters. We know that that carries. We know that the will continue, and we conclude the session.
Where's that?
You're mad. You hate life. You're mad at nothing all the time. You're yelling at walls. You're yelling at walls. You're afraid of ghosts. You're afraid of a boogeyman. You're a fucking dumbass. I love myself. Fucking retarded racist, man.
Yeah, exactly. You have to bring racist.
Stupid racist, identity politics. You guys are all fucking dumb as fuck. That's how brainwashed you fucking are. That's how you guys act. You think that it matters what somebody's skin color is. You're fucking stupid. It's embarrassing. It's fucking embarrassing. It's embarrassing. They're deporting all illegal invaders. White, black, brown, yellow, every color of the rainbow, dude. It's not just brown people. It's not just white people. It's every illegal. Every single one.
And it's due process.
Due process is when they have deportation orders. That's their process. Yes, it is. When they miss their court date and they get deportation orders, that is the due process.
Izzo. Oh man. They are over there yelling at walls, dude. Oh man, right when it was getting good.
No, you gotta read up what their ability is and the authority that they're using under the law. They are not. No, they're not. You're lying. That's a lie.
That's a lie.
No, it isn't. Dude, more people got killed under ICE with Obama and Biden than ever with Trump.
Why are you screaming?
They're the nicest ICE organization, administration that they've ever been. Yes. Okay. ICE is nice. But I'm yelling so they can all hear too.
Look, we've talked one-on-one.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Yeah, it's the real. I know. That's what I said earlier, but I'm clowning, but it's...
I get the purpose right. But when you are exceeding your governmental authority...
No, they need to be okay, but that's on them. No, that's not on them. Yes, it is.
That is on our government.
There's multiple ways that both of those people should still be alive today. It was their choice and their actions that put them into a situation where they ended up dead. It's not their fault, but they put themselves in the situation. Be realistic.
Means that you deserve to
Be realistic. Hey, if I had a weapon and I'm wrestling with the cops,
you have enough to consider having a weapon.
They should shoot me too, or they would, and I wouldn't cry about it. I'd be dead. But dude, you can't do that.
Stepped it out of line.
He already went 11 days before that with the gun on his hip and did the same thing. The part of the CHL or concealed carry class is that you can't have that and have altercations with the police.
That wasn't an altercation. That's the problem.
He got involved. He impeded. He impeded an arrest. He impeded an arrest. He deliberately put himself in between a law enforcement officer and their duty.
So you're saying self-censorship is your answer to this?
What do you mean self-censorship?
Because you're saying, well, he had everything on him. He put himself in that light. That is called self-censorship.
No, but he has a concealed carry. If he had it on his hip like this, then that's an open carry. He could be different about it.
Self-censorship. They are getting to a place where you're like, just stay home. How many of the Second Amendment people out there are yelling, just stay home?
Right, but they have an open carry usually. If you come to a protest, you open carry.
You're allowing yourself to be self-censored.
He's fighting with the police. When the police tell him to get down, he's wrestling with the cops. He's grabbing their chest carrier and stuff. He's not just getting down on the ground. He should have, because he has a gun on him. He should just get down, assume the position, and just get arrested.
Pushed to the ground. Tell me that
she can do what she needs to do to sue the law enforcement officer or do whatever she needs to do. You cannot hit a law enforcement officer. A federal agent, you just think that you can go hit him because he put someone? You think you can hit a federal
How's he got all
agent
over his
because he put
vest?
somebody?
Flashlights?
He never slapped him like this and tried to grab him. Yes, he did. He pushed his shoulder like right here. Yes, he did. Everybody saw the video. Yes, he did. No, it's not. I said it's not right. No, I said it's not right. I said that both of them should be alive. But their own actions and choices put them in the predicament where they ended up dead. No, I am not. They are doing it to themselves. He can have a gun. You're conflating what I said. He could have a gun, but he should have it out, open carry. If he doesn't, then he shouldn't be getting involved. He should be and they're doing okay? Do you understand how easy that is? Law enforcement officers hurt people and do stuff wrong all the time, right? And what do people do? Right? You don't try to fight them. You do not try to fight them. The system is not broken. You guys just think that's how you feel. The system's working just great. 80 million people voted for this. 80 million people voted for this. 77.2 million.
It's not really. It's also that, like,
no, because
there are probably that doesn't make any sense.
Is there a leader of Christianity?
In 2020,
No.
and then you
Exactly,
take Kamala
right.
Harris.
Christianity is an ideology, right?
Okay, yeah, but
that's what you think. That's how your nation. That
domestic terrorist group is not an ideology.
Anti-fascism is just a thing that people can be, right? Like anyone who isn't a fascist.
What about the makeshift checkpoints in Minnesota that they were making? You know?
Man, people can organize, right? Doesn't mean it's an international
I mean, but that sounds kind of fascist to stop people and check their papers.
Check their papers?
Yeah, that's what they were doing. They were setting up checkpoints so that they could catch ICE.
Oh yeah, that's not checking the papers. That's catching Nazis.
Well, okay, but they were fascist though. To try to.
Would you like to know what fascism is?
No, not this again.
Oh, you don't want to know what it is? You're not interested? Because you're asking me what's fascist.
You're railing from the fact that you are the leader of Antifa.
No, that's fucking stupid. Don't insult yourself. Don't insult your own intelligence. Don't insult the intelligence.
Well, I'm not saying the whole I'm saying here.
No one here listens. Like no one here would ever.
Yeah, but a million of them have been in your home.
What?
A bunch of them have been in your home. I doubt a lot of other people say the same thing.
People use my fucking sink.
I doubt it's just the sink. I've seen them.
You're right. They also use. They also use my fucking my bathroom, and if they're really fucking gas.
His head always hurts.
Everything you say is a feeling. What I'm saying is what's actually happening in reality. I'm observing.
Well, they're not random. You know all these people out here.
I don't know all of them.
I know all of them. Most of the Antifa. They know you too.
There are like thousands.
I don't agree with that. I'm not saying that it's
well, you're pretty famous at this point around here for sure.
Like
probably not for the right reason.
There are like thousands of people that fucking protest here. I know, like maybe
right. I know. There's but that's quite a bit.
People just use my apartment, man. It's not that, like it's that difficult for you to comprehend. Allowing people.
Okay. Anytime this dude comes out, I know that everybody's just trying to get attention. I'm gonna go now. Thank you all for hanging out. I'm good on the Portland thing. It's stupid. It's like watching the real world, but worse. Bunch of bullshit. Especially when that dude comes out. Guy's acting crazy right now too. He's about to get caged. Alright then. You Miss Bungle, Ted, Hank, D. Oh, he's going crazy. I was gonna run again better. Bye.